sound station and security in Raleigh, Smithfield, and at myhotsound.com.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested, even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Dry weather, but on the cloudy side this afternoon, we'll have a few holes in the clouds here and there. A bit breezy with a high of 71. Mid-50s overnight tonight, and we should see a bit more sunshine as our low continues to move away from us. We'll see a high of 75.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 397 points to 46,465.
Snap back to Bailey, left hashes at the Irish 45. Bailey uncorks one, right sideline. It is caught. Touchdown, NC State.
Young throws to the end zone. McMillan's open, makes the catch. T-Mac with his first career touchdown. Flush to his left, throws downfield. Dowdle wide open. 10-5, touchdown, Rico Dowdle. Buckle up.
Leaves it for Gostisbehere. Back to Aho. Shooting spot for Jarvis.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. It is a hockey night in Carolina. And matter of fact, that's where we're going to start the Big Three at 3.
Number 2.
Number 1. It's on the West Coast, so it gets reversed.
Exactly.
We go 2, and then it's like the opposite hemisphere.
Yep. That's how exactly how it works.
The Carolina Hurricanes are at the San Jose Sharks. 10 p.m. Eastern time puck drop, so take your naps, get your caffeine ready.
Canes after dark, folks.
We're preparing for the long haul. If you want to catch a flight and be out there, tickets as low as $17, according to ESPN.
Yo, let's go. Wait, the flights or the game?
The game.
Sorry, okay. But I say flight $17? Oh my God, Tim.
No, once you get out there.
Oh, okay.
You can find a ticket for $17, according to ESPN.
All right.
It is a fun fact for Carolina Hurricanes fans. And it's like hockey, it's even less important, but it's still fun to know. There are only 3 teams that remain unbeaten.
That's true, actually.
There are only 3 teams that remain unbeaten, that being the Carolina Hurricanes, the Dallas Stars, and the Seattle Kraken. That's how quickly that hockey thins itself out, right? That's how quickly everybody has a blemish on their record, and it's why you should not overreact to any one game, right? Because there are teams that have lost darn near immediately, a game or 2, that are going to end up winning their division. They're going to end up being contenders. They're going to end up catching a rhythm. It can happen to everybody on any given night. It's why a long road trip like this for the Carolina Hurricanes, which starts tonight against the San Jose Sharks and then goes to Anaheim and then goes to LA and then goes to Vegas and then goes to Colorado and then goes to Dallas, and they'll be back home finally for their next home game 14 days from now when they host Vegas on the 28th. It's good for a lot of reasons. Not that you expect to run the gamut and go undefeated. It's because you get to learn a lot about your team early on. right? You get to put your team under pressure early on, and maybe not with San Jose because of the reputation that they bring, but just the long-form version of the State Fair road trip is putting your team under pressure, and that's how you test pipes, right? You put them under pressure, you look for the leaks, you fix them. Do you know what's crazy? We're going to do first goal scorer predictions later on in the show, okay? So you can send them in on our YouTube live stream. Go to 99.9 The Fan. Look up the live stream, waving to everybody out there. Subscribe to YouTube while you're there. We're like 40 away, maybe less now.
Less
than 40 subscribers away from 20,000.
That's right.
I hesitated because it sounds like a big number. It is a big number. 20,000 subscribers, and when we do hit 20,000, we will have a cool giveaway going to one of those subscribers. So get there, get your friends there, get subscribed. Yeah, but in those YouTube live stream comments, you can participate in first goal scorer predictions. Who scores the first goal of the game and in what period? Talking only Carolina Hurricanes here. Don't be funny and guess a shark. Who scores the first Canes goal of the game, and in what period? You can also comment on my Twitter. I asked for those first goal scorer predictions early on. And as I often do, I studied it. There is, I'm sensing, a withheld, like everyone knows it's too ridiculous to say out loud, so nobody's saying it out loud, but they're feeling it. Little trepidation about Ehlers not finding the back of the net yet. There's quite a few predictions for like Ehlers gets it out of the way. And you can tell in just the vibes of the room, in the responses to first goal scorer predictions, everyone's going, just so I can stop worrying about it, can Ehlers score a goal? I'm here to say whether he scores or not. Small sample size in a big sample size sport. It's only just begun. There'll be some chemistry building. There will be stretches where Ehlers scores a bunch. There'll be multi-goal games. There'll be games where he has a whole bunch of points and doesn't score a goal because he's setting up his teammates. Give it time. Do your best. I appreciate everybody's concentrated restraint. It's 100%. I get the feeling of, I know it's crazy, but then everybody goes, why hasn't he scored yet? Should I be worried? No. No, you should not. That's number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
The AP polls have come out in college basketball, giving us an insight into how the Associated Press voters, the pollers, think that this season could go. We'll start with, to mix it up, we'll start with the women. The women's AP poll came out earlier today, and yes, in case you were wondering, nothing has changed. We are still living right in the mecca of college basketball on both the men's and women's side. Duke is 7. State is 9. UNC is 11. So the three teams in the triangle that play in the ACC are all in the top 11 teams in the country, according to the AP poll. If you're wondering who's all the way at the top, it is UConn, it is South Carolina, UCLA. These are powerhouses in their own right. Texas, LSU, Oklahoma, then Duke, Tennessee, then State, Maryland, then UNC. If you're looking for other ACC teams, there's also Notre Dame at 15. There's also Louisville at 20. So the ACC is well represented. And there's some recruiting news coming out of the women's game that I'll fill you in on later. From the men's side, what are we looking at? In the men's AP poll, Duke 6, Louisville 11th, UNC 25th. NC State is like the unofficial 26. They are the team receiving the most votes who is not in the top 25. So they're the leaders of the also receiving votes category.
I'll call them 26.
And then we can call Virginia 41 then, because they're near the bottom of the also receiving votes category. Here's my point on the AP basketball poll for the men's side. Give credit for strength of schedule now, because coaches can't predict how the season's going to go along, right? They can't predict what injury is going to occur, which team's going to be the surprise, right? So they schedule based on how programs are looking like they will be, and goodness gracious, John Shire and Duke. Duke will play according to the AP basketball poll that just came out, number 3 in the country, number 7, number 10. They'll play number 11 twice. They'll play 14, they'll play 19, they'll play 22, they'll play 25 twice, and if we count State as number 26, they'll play number 26 as well.
That's a lot.
That's Kansas,
That's a lot.
Arkansas, Florida, Michigan State, Texas Tech, Louisville twice, UNC twice, and Michigan. So they actually have a brutal non-conference schedule, but also they play the maximum number of ranked teams you can play in conference schedule, because their main double rivalry is UNC. They play them twice every year. They're ranked, and their rotating kind of temporary double rivalry, who they play twice this year, is Louisville, who's number 11. They have a stretch Thursday, November 27th. They play number 14 Arkansas at the United Center in Chicago. That following Tuesday, so just a handful of days later, they play number 3 Florida at home at Cameron. Then the following Saturday, so again just a handful of days later, they play number 22 Michigan State at Michigan State in East Lansing. That's a tough schedule. If you want some comparisons here, UNC will play number 6 twice. That's Duke. They'll play number 9, number 11, number 19, and number 22. Which, you're starting to learn something, right? Michigan State isn't afraid to play the ACC. Kansas isn't afraid to play the ACC. They're playing both Duke and UNC. Kentucky will mix it up with just about anybody. And they're also playing NC State as well, so they get number 26. And for State, they're playing number 6, number 11, number 19, 20, and 25. Just 2 of those coming out of conference play. Number 20, Auburn, and number 19, Kansas. Kansas, they might as well be a part of the triangle, I guess. So they're all playing decent schedules, all playing a couple of ranked opponents, but Duke is setting themselves up for a gauntlet. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
I just want to vent real quickly here, but it's not. It's important. I had this thought yesterday, or I said this yesterday about the bad refereeing in the NFL.
Okay. Where
I think it's funny, especially because I pay attention to as many games as I can. I always have Panthers on main screen, then I got other screens on Red Zone or whatever. It's funny to me to see every NFL fan base think that they're the only team getting bad calls. When the refs make a bad call, it's like, why does this always happen to us? And I'm like, I just saw a bad call in the Patriots game. I just saw a bad call in the Panthers game. I just saw a bad call in this game, that game, that game. It's just you notice the ones that are happening to you. So I caught myself being a little sad about, not sad, but a little bummed that we still haven't seen the Panthers wide receiving core fully functional, right? Jalen Coker still wasn't able to come back, even though he was eligible to play last week. And Xavier Legette has been banged up. And I'm going, Bryce is still out there not playing with his guys. I'm going to list for you. And this is not a fully comprehensive list. This is just what I went and grabbed. I'm just looking at one position. Wide receivers in week 6 that suffered injuries that are likely to keep them out for at least one game. Puka Nacua, ankle injury. Emeka Egbuka, hamstring. Garrett Wilson, knee. Marvin Harrison Jr., concussion, although protocol, he might come out, but he's in concussion protocol. Calvin Ridley, hamstring. DJ Moore had a hospital trip after the game last night that the reports are nobody really knows why.
Huh.
Just taken in an ambulance to the hospital to stay overnight after Monday Night Football.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it was. I didn't either. And then I was like, wait a second, looked it up. It's kind of crazy. Already hurt coming into the game. CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Godwin, Darnell Mooney. And Jawan Jennings played, and then after the game told everybody, I'm dealing with 5 cracked ribs and high and low ankle sprains.
Did you mention Terry McLaurin?
I did mention he's already out. He's been out.
He's been out, yeah.
So, using fantasy points as kind of like all-encompassing touchdowns, catches, everything. This week, number 1, number 5, number 7, number 29, number 52, number 54. Best wide receivers in the league got hurt this week. Already out, as I mentioned. CeeDee, who's top 5. Malik Neighbors, who's top 5. Tyreek Hill, who's been top 5. Terry McLaurin, who's top 15. Mike Evans, who's been top whatever for a decade. There's a boatload of wide receiver injuries. And that's why when we talk injuries, when we talk NFL, we say everybody's dealing with something. Nobody's 100% by the. We're, 6 games in? Seems like everybody not only is not 100%, like every team in the league is not only 100%. Seems like they've all dealt with wide receiver injuries specifically. So maybe I shouldn't feel so bad that, Jalen Coker hasn't been able to get healthy. Puts it in perspective a little bit, right? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the big three at 3. We zero in on the nightcap. Canes tonight at San Jose, 10 o'clock puck drop. What is different this year about the Canes? I'll tell you one of the many things coming up next.
Hey, it's Paul Eihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. Fall in North Carolina, as we know, means crisp nights, football Saturdays, and big savings with the Red Tag Sales event going on now at Clayton and Oakwood Homes. It's the best time of the year to buy your dream home. And right now, prices are slashed. You can save thousands on select in-stock homes. These are move-in ready homes with huge markdowns, but only while supplies last. Like a strong defense on the field, Clayton-built homes are made to keep you covered. Designed with energy efficiency in mind, you will stay cozy this fall, comfortable year-round, and save money on bills. Check out Clayton and Oakwood Homes to see fully furnished models, explore your options, and lock in savings. And don't wait. These homes are priced to move, and when they're gone, they're gone. The Red Tag Sale going on now at Clayton and Oakwood Homes locations and online at theredtagsale.com. Terms and conditions for the Red Tag Sales event at theredtagsale.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through 12/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available within certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Now Stankoven has got a step. He'll wait. He'll drop it back. Blake waits, draws, shoots, airs it. Rebound. They score! Logan Stankoven on the doorstep. Pounds it home. And we're tied at 1.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I may have just put an extra 9 in there. 99.9 The Fan. Sometimes it's like with spelling bananas in that Gwen Stefani song. B-A-N-A-N-A-N. It's 99.99999 The Fan. You get lost in it for a second. The Carolina Hurricanes here on 99.999 The Fan will be playing the San Jose Sharks tonight. 10 o'clock puck drops, so bear with us. If you tune in at like 7:30 expecting to hear a pregame show, just know you got some time.
It's 7 o'clock Pacific time, folks.
So like I said, take your nap if you need to. Get your caffeine ready. Whatever you're going to do to stay awake, make sure you're ready for it. One of the questions that I was asked not long ago by I would say a casual Canes fan, and it's a fantastic question. I'm not knocking the question asker. The question was simply, what's different this year? Right? If you're a casual fan, you pay attention, you check the scores in the morning, you're probably not staying up for a 10 o'clock game, but you would if it was a 7 o'clock game, right? You're a casual fan. All you know is the Canes have been good for a long time, but they kind of make it to the same spot in the postseason and fizzle out. So this year, before I go get my hopes up, before I go invest, what's different? And I thought there's two ways I could have answered that question. And this is why you don't ask a sports radio host like a casual question and conversation, because you don't get, the answer is this. You get, I'll answer that in a 7-part outline. Let's start with number 1. And they're like, oh, gosh. I could have answered like real technical hockey stuff and just said, this is what Keandre Miller brings to the table. This is what Alexander Nikishin's potential is. Here's Nikolai Ehlers, who's one of the crown jewels of the free agency class. Or I could answer with something more vibey, right? I could go a little more in theory. And I'm going with vibes. The Canes may not actually be that much younger than in years past. I went and looked it up, like average age of roster on opening night. It's negligible. It's like 28.4 this year, 28.1 another, 28.5. Like, it just seems like most NHL rosters are somewhere in the around 28 years on average age. So they might not actually be much younger this year than in years past. But vibes, they seem 100 times younger. And there's two things that I'm going to point out here. One, the captain, Jordan Staal, will play his 900th game as a member of the Carolina Hurricanes tonight in San Jose.
That's crazy. 900. In just a Canes uniform.
Exactly. And he had a whole life before, we don't acknowledge it, but the whole life in the NHL before playing for the Carolina Hurricanes. Only 3 players in the entire franchise's history, going back to when they were the Whalers, have played more than 900 games as a member of this franchise. Ron Francis, Glenn Wesley, Eric Staal. And guess what? He's going to pass Eric Staal like maybe, I don't know exactly, in the next month. He's only 9 games behind after tonight, Eric Staal. And obviously that comes, you don't get to 900 games with a team, especially your second team. Not saying you got to 900, but like after playing for a bunch of years for another team. It doesn't happen unless you're getting up there in age, right? Unless you're a little long in the tooth, as they say. And then the other thing that's happening is we don't know the availability of Jacob Slavin over the next however long, right? Did we ever, and I pay attention to this stuff as much as anybody, and it hasn't come across my purview. Did we learn if Slavin was on the plane yesterday?
I did not. I do not know.
The last bit of info we have then is Rod Brindamore updating everybody after practice yesterday. We have that audio here. So here's Rod from after practice yesterday, which was here in Carolina before leaving for the West Coast, on still being unsure if Slavin will suit up.
Maybe. He's getting looked at again, and so he didn't feel great at the end of the game. That's still to be TBD, I think.
Still TBD. So we'll say still TBD. For the first time in a while, again, it's more vibes than it is on actual roster averages. I think the Canes can lean on the young guys to grind the regular season a lot more. To be the cornerstones that have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. If Slavin has to miss some time, and goodness knows that the Canes would miss him, as any team that would miss a player of Slavin's caliber. But if Slavin has to miss some time, you're not looking towards Brent Burns or a guy who's actually going to be on the other side of this matchup tonight, Dmitry Orlov. Like, you're not looking towards 38s and 32s and 33s and saying, we're going to need you to wind back the clock and have the energy of a mid-20s guy. You're leaning on actual mid and early 20s guys. Keandre Miller is 26. I mean, we know Alexander Nikishin is young, right? He's a rookie, 23. Jalen Chatfield might be 29 years old, but again, vibes are younger. Jordan Staal, when you look at the forwards, will always lead his line, and it's an important line, and they have the identity, and they're grinding, right? They're checking, they're doing what they have to do. But the strength of the forwards this year for the Carolina Hurricanes, it's young. I'll start with youngest. Stankoven, 22. Blake, 22. Jarvis, 23. Even Svech. Svech is 25 years old.
Grizzled young vet.
He is exactly. It's funny because Jarvis is always going, why are you acting like I'm old? I'm not 40. I'm sure he treats Svech like he is 40. He's only 25. Aho, 28. Ehlers, 29. It is, even with, and they do have their vets, don't get me wrong, but I look at this team and I see a youthful energy that I have not seen in a while, right? In a while. And I think that's underrated. You go back like 3 years ago, if even like Aho's more of an old soul, if it felt like there were just a bunch of like old guys that wanted to be in bed by 8:45, and then Jarvis trying to provide all of the spark as, the little kid in the room. Now it just seems more fun rather than, grizzled. Grizzled's a good word. I'll use grizzled. And this is no disrespect to some guys that were on those teams, but Grizzled doesn't sound like the most exciting and most fun way to go to work every day. How was work today? Grizzled. How was work today? Grinding. That's not fun, right? I think this Carolina Hurricanes team, in addition to the Ehlers and like the actual tangible additions, the difference between this year and last year is like, you know, a little bit more kid energy. And the last part I'll bring up about this is, and I know Canes fans in particular really don't like when you look to other teams to like, hey, you can learn something from this. I'm still wildly impressed by the trio of players with Pittsburgh, right? The little group led by Sidney that's been there for 20 years as teammates. And did you see when Marc-Andre Fleury has spent like the week there and played in one more kind of retirement preseason game? Did you see what he did the entire time he was there?
What was that?
Pranks.
Oh, yeah.
He was messing with their cars. He was messing with their lockers. And part of me was like, all right, guys, you're like 40 years old. But then the other part of me was like, I think that might be why that group did so well together, because they kept like the pond hockey kids spark the entire time they were together. And the moment they got back together, it went right back to like we're 17-year-old prospects again. Like it went right back to it. 22-year-old, newly rich young guys again. I think this year's Canes team can have a bit of that, right? A bit of fun, a bit of college atmosphere, and I think it'll breathe new life to the Stahl and Martinook guys, the guys that have been around a while. I think it'll breathe new life into the older guys because you can't help it. You can't help it. The youth keeps you young, you know what I mean? That's what I hope, in addition to the actual tangible hockey stuff, is different this year about the Carolina Hurricanes. I hope we get stories of hijinks on the road after this 2-week road trip. I want Jarvis tying like two hotel doors together across the hall, knocking on both doors and watching them open and just close it on each other. That's what I want. I want Stalzy, when he gets off the elevator, hitting all of the buttons so they got to ride him one at a time. That's what I want. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And everybody pay attention to this. If you have somebody doing something like that, smashing all the buttons on an elevator, and then all of a sudden it stops working, Mainer Service Company. Tim Donnelly here for Mainer Service Company, right? It's all fun and games, turning the fan on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off, flashing the lights, flashing the lights, flashing the lights, until your electricity stops working. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, those things that we take for granted. If one of them isn't working in an emergency or non-emergency fashion, Mainer Service Company is the place to call. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week service, all across the Triangle. We're talking all of Wake County and 50 miles in any direction. The reason why I say in emergency and non-emergency fashion is for exactly that, right? It's one thing if, hey, you know what? My ceiling fan, the electricity's not working there. Something's tripped, something's broke, something's not working right. All right. Call Mainer Service Company, right? Do so during the day. There's a completely other beast too. We just lost electricity to the left side of our house. Our refrigerator is stocked with food that'll go bad, and if we don't get somebody out here, it's going to cost us a bunch of money. Mainer Service Company, at that moment, give them a call, 24/7 service, right? There's every different kind of need you have when it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Mainer Service Company can take care of it. So bookmark this number for any of those situations and many, many more situations that we can't predict. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993, or visit them online at MainerServices.com. That's MAYNOR services.com. Now we're looking towards the Dean's List, and there's some good recruiting news. Is there a new pipeline? Texas to the Triangle? We'll discuss next.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into What now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today, 919-200-4000. That's 919-200-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Waking up, getting ready, sitting in traffic. Let's face it, getting to work in the morning is a lot of work. But when you get a great deal on your favorite McDonald's coffee, becoming a morning person is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now get any size refreshingly cold iced coffee for $1, a delicious mocha for $2, and a frappe for $3. Available only during breakfast hours. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
8 years ago, I blew my football career.
He dropped it at the 1 yard line.
Chad Powers has arrived on Hulu.
If I can't play as Russ, I'll play as someone else. My name's Chad.
And last name?
From executive producers Eli and Peyton Manning.
Remember, you're wearing a prosthetic mask? This is acting.
And starring Glenn Powell.
He thinks you're a rubber, you tell him. Not rubber. I'm a man made of flesh.
The Hulu original series, Chad Powers, is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. New episodes Tuesdays.
Snap back to Bailey, left hashes at the Irish 45. Bailey uncorks one, right sideline. It is caught. Touchdown, NC State. There's a 45-yarder down the far sideline.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a hockey night in Carolina, everybody. Canes tonight, late night, 10 o'clock puck drop between the Carolina Hurricanes and the San Jose Sharks. If you want to listen to that, or if you want easy access to all of our podcasts, if you want to read some of the blogs that we've written about the teams that you love, if you want to win things, we do giveaways, which I believe there's one going on right now for some kind of tickets. There's a pair of tickets that is going on right now. We're giving away so many, it's hard to keep track. But everything I'm describing, including live streams and everything else, is on our 99.9 The Fan app, which has been active now for a few weeks. And do you know what might be the biggest compliment I can pay all the people that worked on the app behind the scenes?
What's that?
We really haven't had to update it at all, right? Normally you put out an app and then you're constantly like, found a bug, got to fix it. Hey, don't worry, we're going to work this out. We've put out the app. There's been people listening in every different way, video, live stream. There's been people reading. There's been people winning things, and it's all just kind of happening smoothly. So you want to be a part of that group where it's happening smoothly. Go ahead and download 99.9 The Fan, Google Play or App Store, depending on what type of phone you have, and we'd always appreciate a 5-star rating.
So we're giving away, this is part of like the last part of the, people that subscribe and sign up early. We're giving away a pair of Carolina Hurricanes tickets versus the Florida Panthers at Lenovo on January 16th.
Ironically, when I was struggling to figure out what we were giving away, I was going, I think they're hockey tickets, but for some reason I'm thinking Panthers, and I was very confusing. And
ironically, it was both.
Yeah, it was both. By the way, that's an electric game right there.
Oh, easily.
That is an electric game. So 99.9 The Fan app, download it, and you might win electric game tickets. Canes and Panthers.
Make sure you give us an email, one that you actually check.
Yeah, one that you check. Because that's how we notify winners. We just send you an email saying you're the winner. So if you give us your spam email, right, the one you give for free trials and stuff that you never actually check, we'll have no way of notifying you that you won. So give us the real one, right? Give us the personal, or at least one that you check. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. With all that being said, let's jump into the Dean's List. Class is in session. It's where we give a few extra accolades, a little extra love to those that are directly or indirectly related to the college sports world that we hold so near and dear here in the Triangle. Starting with, I teased this before the break, Is there a Texas to Triangle pipeline happening here? Within the last few days, I'm going to be honest. I thought maybe these were the same, which is people are going to get really upset about. So a couple of days ago, I saw Kamora Pruitt, who is on our Dean's list, a Dallas, Texas women's basketball prospect, a high school basketball player from Dallas, Texas, and is a top 30 ranked recruit. She's 27th, basically, 26, 27, 28, depending on which service you look at, in the country. So she's a high 4-star at the worst, low 5-star, kind of that range. She committed to NC State women's basketball by flying out to Raleigh and doing it in person to their coach Wes Moore and the players, and they got to have a nice little celebration. I'd never seen that. I don't know if that's been done before, right? I'm used to like the folding table in the high school gymnasium with hats in front of you, and that's how you make your commitment. Sometimes you go to like a convention center or a nearby restaurant and do it there amongst friends and family. Flying out and doing it at the school is kind of cool. So that happened. And then earlier today, it may have been news yesterday, but earlier today I'm scrolling and I see high school basketball player from San Antonio, Texas, commits to play for Duke, and she's one of the top recruits in the country. And I was like, wait, I thought it was NC. What? So I clicked on it, and it's Bella Flemings, the 12th ranked player in the class of 2026 in the nation for women's basketball, has committed to Duke, she announced. So San Antonio, Texas, Dallas, Texas, it was just a coincidence that two of the best players in Texas committed to different teams in the Triangle within a couple of days of each other. A little pipeline action. Must just be, positive word of mouth for the barbecue in the area.
That's right, Carolina barbecue. North Carolina barbecue. Better than Texas barbecue.
They're just all showing up going, all right, yeah, I guess I'll give it a go. Maybe, I don't know. But either way, Kamora Pruitt, Dallas, Texas, 27th ranked recruit in the country, committing to NC State. She is on the Dean's list. Bella Flemings, San Antonio, Texas, 12th ranked player in the class of 2026, commits to Duke. She is also on the Dean's list. You can put the programs on the Dean's list, whichever way you want to do that. Somebody's getting the extra accolades. Do you have a Dean's list you'd like to throw out there? Dennis?
I do. ACC women's soccer. So the NCAA selection committee announced like their initial top 16 rankings because, we have to do the same thing that college football playoff does. But nonetheless, they released their top 16. So these would be all, the equivalent of 1 through 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Again, as of right now, they still got a lot of time left in the regular season. But Notre Dame, number 1. Virginia, number 2. Florida State, number 6. Duke, number 8. Literally half of the top 8.
Nice.
And the top 2, ACC women's soccer.
Nice. Just means more.
It does.
It just means more.
It means more.
It does. Half of the top 8. That's like 2005 men's college basketball numbers for the ACC. Let's get back there. Last Dean's List member. Actually, I'll go with 2.
Okay.
This one just because I think it's crazy. Alexander Karmanov. He's going to Penn State hockey next year. 7 feet 1 inches tall. He grew an inch. Apparently, he was listed at 7 feet the last I had heard of him, which he met up with the Canes at some point, and he took a picture with Brent Burns, I think last year, and he just dwarfs Brent Burns in the picture. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. You guy's 7 feet. Today, my social media feed told me that he's now listed at 7'1".
That's insane.
280 pounds. He is a hockey prospect. Do you think if they put him in goalie pads, they could live out every kid's question, which is, can't you just get a sumo wrestler, put him in hockey pads, and have him lay down in the goal and just block the whole thing? 7-footer, 280, 290 pounds. If he packs on 30 or 40 more pounds, put him in goalie pads, just have him get wide. I don't know. I mean, I know every 9-year-old asks the same question, but it seems like it might come true with somebody that big. How long do you think the hockey stick would be?
How tall is a redwood?
Yeah, it's like got to be 1 piece. It's like the old canoes from Native American time. It was all carved from one tree. The branch.
That's how you used to make lacrosse
Saw it
sticks.
off.
Straight from a hickory.
That's funny. All right, now for real, the last Dean's Lister of the day. Dennis, you're not going to like it.
What?
South Carolina. University of South Carolina received a $5 million gift.
Okay.
That is good enough to earn the donor the naming rights, so they're going to name it after the donor, of the Department of Sport and Entertainment Management. They have an entire department named after them, and they are David and Nicole Tepper, the owners of the Carolina Panthers.
Of course.
David and Nicole Tepper, Department of Sport and Entertainment Management, in recognition of their $5 million gift from the David and Nicole Tepper Foundation. Do you have any feelings about them as the owners of the Carolina Panthers, which is in North Carolina, taking their $5 million donation to a South Carolina school?
No.
Why not?
I just don't.
Okay. I thought you might.
No.
You sound a little bitter.
Just going to abstain. By the way, I do have a late entrant onto the Dean's list,
Let's
actually.
hear it.
Syracuse University. Speaking of the ACC, Syracuse. The NHL, the National Hockey League, and Syracuse University have actually entered a multi-year agreement where Syracuse will provide a comprehensive suite of educational programs for access by NHL players, as well as their dependent family members at significant tuition discounts. So not only can players and, again, dependent family members maybe work on an undergraduate degree, but also a graduate program as well. So Syracuse is going to develop a full complement of programs that the NHL players can access, and they can also do it fully online as well if they decide to do so. So, for example, a player comes out of college after a year or two, or maybe they want to extend their education, whatever it might be. So the NHL and Syracuse are partnering up, which I think is really cool.
For those of you that aren't in the journalism world, Syracuse is known as a broadcasting powerhouse.
They are.
I assume there's going to be quite a few 10, 15-year vets start eyeing their post-NHL career and go, you know what, maybe I should do some journalism classes at Syracuse so I can start my own podcast with a little bit of know-how rather than just going in all willy-nilly and wild. That's still cool. Credit to them. They make the Dean's List. And with that, let's dismiss the Dean's List. But we will stay in the college sports world. We have the podium coming up next. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. You may hear somewhere else, our rates are lower than Miller's rates, right? They may tell you that. Little like negative recruiting, right? Like, oh, they won't do what we'll do for you. Our rates are lower than Miller's rates. It's like you're trying to get a prospect. But do you know what that often is? It's often the same thing we deal with airlines, right? You type in, I want to get from RDU and I want to go to Vegas, or I want to go to San Jose, I want to go to California to watch a game tonight. You put it in there and then you look at the lowest ticket rates and you find one that's like half the price of the rest. So you click on that airline. And then what do you have to do? They take you to another page and they say, do you want to carry on? You go, yes. They go, that'll be $100. And you go, oh, never mind, I'll check. They go, check, that's $150. They go, wait a second. And then they go, would you like we have a 2-day layover in Albuquerque. You're like, well, I don't want that. They're like, that's another $200. And by the end, your ticket is way more expensive. They just tack it on one at a time, little costs, little fees. That doesn't happen at Miller Lending, right? Other mortgage lenders might say, our rates are lower. And you show up and they're like, well, we have a surcharge for this. We have a third-party fee for that. We have closing costs for this. And by the end, you're like, wait a second, I'm way behind here. Miller Lending, it's kind of that all-inclusive ticket, right? You buy the ticket, you don't spend another dime. Miller Lending, you show up with closing costs, they go, keep them. There's no closing costs on this loan. It's something called a no-cost loan. They've been doing it for decades. It is by the end, oftentimes the cheaper option. They just didn't nickel and dime you along the way. They were upfront with you. How about that? So if that's something that you like, upfront business, locally owned business right here in Cary, you want to take this number down. It's Miller Lending at 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We have the podium coming up next. Which football team in the ACC from the state of North Carolina got the gold medal? What about the silver? What about the bronze? Who's off the podium? Stick around.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
Every season can be punishing for your roof. Mother Nature is a fierce opponent that doesn't take a break, which is why you need RoofWorks on your building maintenance team. Hi, this is Holly from RoofWorks. We specialize in keeping your commercial roof in great condition no matter what the issue may be. We offer roof inspections, roof repairs, and if needed, a full roof replacement. We help determine if there's a problem with your roof and advise you on the most cost-effective way to handle it. Contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
They're going to give it to Castle. He's got a first down. He's got more. Castle into the end zone, standing up for the touchdown. My goodness, Anderson Castle with his first of the day, fourth of the season, and it's now 37-3 with 11:04 to go.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get into the podium, a little update on some Canes news ahead of their game tonight, which you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan against San Jose. I have a quote via Walt Ruff, Canes team reporter, from Rod Brindamore on Jacob Slavin. Jacob Slavin, the all-world blue liner for the Canes, who's dealing with a little something lower body injury. Rod said, and I quote, this is about Slavin, he went for some more testing. I think we're just going to keep him out for a while. I don't think it's super serious, but he doesn't quite feel right. So for right now, he's not on this trip. End quote. That's what we know about Jacob Slavin, so he will not be playing tonight. Also, I believe they indicated that Brandon Bussey, their recently claimed goaltender, will likely be in the starter's crease tonight, which means Freddie will be getting the night off. Freddie Anderson and Pyotr Kochetkov obviously not available, or else it would probably be his first start of the night, or maybe last game would have been his first start of the night if he's ready. So we'll see what Bussey's bringing to the table. And that's what we have for updates on the Canes at the moment. Let's move on to the podium. I love this music. It just makes me feel patriotic. All right, the podium. The four teams in the ACC from the state of North Carolina. One's going to get the gold, the silver, the bronze, and one will be off the podium. We're talking football players at this time of year, football teams at this time of year. Little different. We didn't get to the podium last week because we were out of office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this is a 2-week award. Traditionally, it is a 1-week award, but this is a 2-week award. I'm not fully sure that it would be any different if it was a 1-week award.
Yeah,
but
true.
It does include 2 weeks. We'll start with off the podium. North Carolina, the Tar Heels. In the 2 weeks that we are judging them for, they lost 38-10 at home to Clemson, and it wasn't that close. And they had a bye week. And I do think this is a question that rivals often ask about their rivals. Fans who are disgruntled often bring up about their own team. If you can lose a bye week, they lost a bye week, right? Can you get mercy ruled on a bye week? A bunch of reports, kind of starting with Pat Welter, who wrote it for WRAL.com, but then a bunch of different outlets, including more reporting from WRAL and on and on. A bunch of reports about the dysfunction of the program came out on the bye week. Bill Belichick had some comments about it yesterday. I don't know if they kind of mitigate or did away with any of the concerns, but he said what he had to say. A lot of coach speak. It's a rough time for North Carolina football right now. Whether you think Belichick is the guy to lead him out of it or not, it's a rough time for Carolina football right now. They're off the podium. Bronze, NC State. They beat Campbell 56-10, but that's
they should have.
Yeah, I was going to say, this isn't 2020 hindsight, not changing, moving the goalpost. Before the game, I said it doesn't matter how bad you beat them. It's not going to do anything positively or negatively unless it impacts the way you play the following week against Notre Dame. They lost against Notre Dame 36-10 on the road. They were outscored 26-0 in the second half. State, I think, watching the way they play, who they played, and how they've played, I think they need a boost in confidence, right? They need something to turn just the momentum of their season. It may be a recent example, but they need Brennan Armstrong to say he's going to play like a grown bleep man. Like, they need just that rallying cry because I still think they're talented. I still think they have a bunch of ability. It just hasn't quite been translating to results over the last 3-4 games the way that I think it should. Bronze medal for NC State. If you're looking for good news for State, you could be the team that's off the podium. Silver goes to Duke. Duke football. They beat Cal on the road, which is a weird game, right? Late, West Coast, not a traditional conference game. They beat Cal 45-21. Then they had a bye week. And the bye week is, for Duke, it's kind of the old traditional bye. I've never heard a coach say the bye is not coming at a good time. Like, it's a good time for them, right? They had a bunch of new pieces early on. They worked them in. They worked through some rough games, and they've kind of come out on the other side with momentum. So they get to build off of that, take a breather, get healthy. Goodbye for Duke. If there is kind of a loss, if there's a negative, I suppose the Penn State situation, which is out of their control, could become a bit of a distraction.
Potentially.
Just because Manny Diaz has the history as a coordinator there. That was good. I thought this was interesting real quick. Manny Diaz wasn't asked necessarily, or at least from what I've seen, hasn't been asked necessarily like, would you accept the job if it was offered? But he was asked about like kind of what it says about college football that James Franklin was fired, considering 3 weeks ago he had a top 5 team in the country that was vying for a national championship. Last year he was one of the 4 teams remaining in the semifinals. This is Manny Diaz's answer. There's 3 things you go through when you're a coach. The honeymoon phase, the please don't leave phase, and the please leave phase. And here's the kicker. And it can change in 3 weeks, is what he said.
That's true. It's a very good point.
As super introspective, but also that right there, it's I believe, correct, right? I think that's true, and we've seen it happen in college sports. But also, somebody with that outlook on college sports is going to look after them. You know what I mean? Somebody with that outlook on college sports isn't going to be like, well, I have to be loyal to this team because they've been loyal to me because they're of the belief that you're 3 bad games away from being fired anyway. So, you got to watch your own back, which I don't think is the wrong way to look at it. It's just a little concerning. And then gold medal. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Last 2 weeks, they didn't have a bye, which says something. And they beat 2 power conference opponents, kind of. Oregon State is like power 4.5, I guess.
Yeah, pseudo.
They
Adjacent?
won and both were on the road.
That's true.
They won at Virginia Tech 30-23, which you might say Virginia Tech stinks, but they beat NC State, and they're in this mix. So you got to take that for what it is.
They beat State at State.
Yeah, they fired their coach, but then they did beat State. So credit to Wake for getting the win.
Yeah.
And then at Oregon State, they beat them 39-14 with their backup quarterback. Robbie Ashford didn't play. Deshaun Purdy was in there. It wasn't that close. They could have won by more. I will say this: Oregon State stinks. They are 0-7 on the year, and since this game against Wake Forest, they did fire their coach Trent Bray. So they've got things they need to deal with. But Wake Forest was the one that kind of landed the knockout blow. They're just playing hard. Wake, Jake Dickert. We talked to him at ACC kickoff, and I want to say immediately after, I was like, "Oh, I get why people would rally behind him."
Yeah.
He says coach speaky things, which I'm always usually critical of. I'm like, that didn't feel authentic. But for whatever reason, I was like believing what he said. As he said, like, we're just looking to get better and we're trying to get everybody pulling in the same direction. And he was saying like very cliche things, and I was going, you know what? Yeah, I'm in, coach. Let's go practice. What do you need? So it's working. Whatever he's doing is working. Wake Forest is 4-2, probably should be 5-1. They're winning games. I don't care if it's beg, borrow, and steal, whatever it takes to win games. They're winning games. So Wake Forest gold medal.
Early before the season, I think I projected them to be like a 3-4 win team, and I feel wrong right now.
The crazy part, first of all, we know they have Damon Claiborne. He's legit. I still don't know if the roster is as good as they're playing. Right? It's one of those deals where. Eventually I would expect them to run into teams that are just more talented, and like, what do you do with that? But
like when they play Virginia in a couple weeks, maybe SMU.
They could face some of that. But if it's close in talent, I think they're getting more out. Like they're getting the most juice out of the squeeze, whatever you want to call it. Right now, like the message is landing, so it's good for Wake Forest.
1 month from tomorrow, they play North Carolina at home against UNC. Could you imagine Coach Dickert, first year at Wake?
If they played tomorrow, I'm probably betting on Wake.
Oh, I 100% would bet on Wake.
So, maybe things could change in the meantime. But if you give me a team that's like 120% as talented as the other team, 140% as talented as the other team, but you tell me one team is firing on all cylinders as a culture and as a team, I'm taking the team that's firing on all cylinders as a culture and as a team. And I'm not saying NC State is more talented. Wake Forest might be more talented than UNC. I'm not. That's a real interesting little comparison based on a couple of new coaches.
Yeah, they could beat North Carolina, then obviously a win against Delaware gets them right to bowl eligibility.
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You start counting us meaning Delaware. You start counting us as a win, you end up not bowl eligible. You better get that win against whoever else is on your roster, whoever else is on your schedule.
Florida State.
Yeah. You know what?
Florida State sounds gettable right now for sure.
I wish Delaware was playing Florida State this week.
Yeah.
You feel like you're catching a wounded animal. Might have something to program changing there for Delaware. But now it's not about the Blue Hens. Do we have a gold star? I've neglected to take too much of a look at the Group of 5 and lower division schools, but we do like to highlight those as well here on 99.9 The Fan. Is there's someone that you want to give a gold star to, Dennis?
So gold star actually a little bit more difficult this week because ECU had a Thursday game against Tulane that they lost on the road 26-19, but that was last week. But we're trying to go back over the last couple weeks.
I know Elon lost to Villanova, so they're probably out of it.
That they did. Someone that actually did get a win.
NCAA lost to South Carolina State.
They did. That was the greatest homecoming on earth. But App State, big win on the road at Georgia State.
All right.
Big win on the road, 41-20. So App State, they get the gold star this week.
Roll Nears.
The happy appies, folks.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Shout out to App State. They get the gold star for the week.
Also, the week before, they beat Oregon State 27-23.
Gosh,
Oregon State. Oof.
And that's how the coach ends up losing his job. We'll take a break. When we come back, it is time for Football at 4, where we have a message for the national media about the Carolina Panthers. Stick around.
Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been with the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center for about 10 weeks now. I've lost 40 pounds. 40 pounds lost in 10 weeks thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And there's so many things about my life that have just improved simply by the weight that I've lost. I'm sleeping a lot better. I'm feeling a lot energetic. I go out and play sports or ride my motorcycle. Just a lot less pressure on my hips, knees, and ankles. My body literally feels 10 years younger thanks to the weight that I've lost over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center and their program. And the one thing I appreciate about the Raleigh Weight Loss Center program is the fact that they also want you to maintain that goal weight as well. It's not just getting down to that target weight. They want you to keep it there. That's why you got to give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call with them. A free 15-minute phone call. That way they can answer any of the questions that you have. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or 919-897-7506. 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
One last exhale. Fitting, isn't it? The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. Close quarters, tight corners, and a fan experience that brings you so close to the action, all of the mayhem will be right at your fingertips. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Martinsville Speedway, October 23rd through the 26th. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
This party's getting crazy!
Are those mini horses?
And there's a build-your-own fireworks bar?
Ah! Heads up!
Whoa, and they've got the new ultimate blowout scratch-offs!
Okay, now it's a party!
With $250, $500, and $5,000 prizes, the ultimate blowout scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are exploding with wins. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.26. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Dry weather, but on the cloudy side this afternoon, we'll have a few holes in the clouds here and there. A bit breezy with a high of 71. Mid-50s overnight tonight, and we should see a bit more sunshine as our low continues to move away from us. We'll see a high of 75.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 203 points today to 46,271.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I try, and I think this show tries, to understand where different people in the media are coming from. Right? I know the business, right? Sometimes you got to go for the clicks. Sometimes you got to go for this. Sometimes you got to go for that. And because of that, I do my best not to, take unnecessary shots. I've been wrong, as I'm sure those of you that listen often know very, very well. I've been wildly wrong with predictions, so I don't like to point out to others like, oh, you thought this guy was going to be good. Everybody knew he was going to be bad. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, yeah, I thought Clemson was going to win the ACC by a lot. Like I don't like.
We all did.
I don't like throwing stones if I live in a glass house. I've referenced this a bunch. I do pre-draft rankings in the NFL. The players that I had ranked around Patrick Mahomes in his draft class would shock you, okay? Like very near the same ratings for guys who have been out of the league for a long time. So I've been wrong. I try not to throw too many shots. If there's one thing that grinds my gears that many of the national media do is dispersing credit inappropriately, or not inappropriate is the wrong way. In without justification or without giving it to the right people. Meaning, you're going to have to talk about the Dallas Cowboys because it brings in the clicks. I get it, right? Everybody that complains about ESPN going like, all they talk about is the Cowboys and LeBron. Well, guess what? They're not doing it because nobody wants to hear about the Cowboys and LeBron, right? They're doing it because that's what rates well, right? They do the numbers. But you can talk about the Cowboys while also doing so in a way that gives the proper credit where it is due. The Carolina Panthers game against the Cowboys this past weekend was not a Cowboys collapse. It was not a disgrace by the Cowboys. The Cowboys were what the Cowboys are. And the Panthers beat them. And trust me, I'm as surprised as anybody. I picked the Cowboys to win by double figures. Like I said, I'm wrong often. Do my best not to be. Always back up my thoughts and predictions with stats or facts. But I didn't see it coming. But watching the game, the Panthers beat the Cowboys. They did not give the game to the Panthers. And to frame it that way is disingenuous to everything I hold dear about sports, which is if you play better, you win. They keep score on the scoreboard for a reason. Anyone can beat anyone on any given Sunday. This was not, for the Carolina Panthers, the Falcons game, where they won 30-0. If they wanted to lead the national sports shows with, wow, Falcons collapse, fine, we can do that. After that Panthers game, 30-0, yeah, Falcons, they gave it. Now, I gave credit to the Panthers for receiving, right? Like, if they're going to give it to you, get out of their way. Let them keep beating themselves. Like that's what they did, especially seeing what the Falcons have done since, right? Statistically, they're one of the best teams in the league. They gave a game to the Panthers. That's fine. That's not what happened with the Cowboys. And what did I say? I like to back up my opinions with facts. In estimated points added, passing, estimated points added per drop back, passer rating, and many other statistics, but I'll just use those three because they're becoming the most kind of widely accepted gauges for how good a quarterback was throwing the ball. In all three of them, Dak Prescott was one of the 4 best quarterbacks of the week. Statistically, Dak Prescott was one of the 4 best quarterbacks in Week 6. In receiving yards, receiving estimated points added, yards after catch and yards after catch over expected, George Pickens was the best receiver in Week 6 in the NFL. Number 1. The Panthers ran the ball well, and they blocked the run game really well. And they did that with 3 starting offensive linemen hurt and their starting running back hurt. That's what you do to an offense that's really good. You keep them off the field. You run the ball. You have long, sustained drives. You do everything you can to not let a guy who's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league and a receiver who's lighting you up continue lighting you up. It wasn't the Cowboys collapsing. It was the Cowboys doing what they're very good at very well, and the Panthers having a scheme and execution to beat them. And not outside of an early turnover, which was a drop, not giving the Cowboys more and more opportunities for that offense to bite you. That's what it was. Watch the game. Go back, watch the tape. Watch every clip. Watch the all 22. Watch from the sideline and the end zone. You're going to see a team that played better than the opposing team. And then at the end, made the 3 or 4 necessary clutch plays to win the game. I will admit that I don't know if the way the Panthers won their last 2 games is repeatable or sustainable, or that's the perfect blueprint for them moving forward, because I just don't know if you can expect the run game to be that productive against teams with different skill sets.
Yeah, can't expect 200-plus yards every single day from your running back.
But that doesn't change the fact that they had 200-plus yards from their running back, and they earned the heck out of, I would say, like 220 of those yards. I know that the story had to lead with the Cowboys because, it clicks, right? America's team, Jerry Jones. You know what could have been? Could have been I would say, flashy headline that would draw in all the big names that you want. Cowboys traded Micah Parsons to strengthen their run defense and then got run over by the Carolina Panthers.
What?
You're mixing in Jerry Jones. You're getting a All-Pro and Micah Parsons in the headline, and you're You're giving credit where it's due to the team that ran all over them. The Cowboys are not good on defense. They didn't give it to the Panthers. They didn't. The Panthers took it. And I think that is one of the differences in that win for the Panthers to other wins that I've seen. Right? And by the way, it's not like there's a lot of wins. But other wins I've seen a lot of times are like, oh, that team let the Panthers hang around long enough to then, land 2 or 3 shots at the end of the game. And, oh, look, they won. This was different. This was a team that pretty much from the jump, their offense had a base, a foundation of production that they could lean on time and time and time again. Dennis brought it up earlier, off air. The Panthers are really gosh darn good when they don't ask Bryce Young to do much. And part of the way I responded to is Bryce is good when every pass is a surprise, right? When the defense is selling out to stop the run and go, whoa, 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 and have to turn and run into coverage. Like he's more than good enough to take advantage of that. That's not bad pass defense. That's a pass defense that had to make itself vulnerable by selling out to stop the run because you were being really effective running the ball. That's good Panther football. And again, I'm not saying that the Cowboys played like the 85 Bears, but their stars played like stars. Their dudes played like dudes. You wouldn't be able to sit around and have me say, after a day where Derek Brown has 8 tackles and a sack and J.C. Horn gets an interception, you're not going to be able to have me sit around and go, well, you know what? The Panthers, they really did nothing right. They just gave that one away, didn't they? I'd be like, actually, their best players played like their best players. And the opposing team found a way to win anyway.
George Pickens still caught, was it 168 or whatever it was?
More receiving yards than anyone else in the NFL this week. I think it was 164, but we're splitting hairs once you get over 160.
Yeah. At that point, who's counting?
Led the league in yards after the catch over expected. Like he was the best receiver in the NFL this week.
He was great.
And they lost.
You
didn't give that away. You actually played kind of well in a lot of ways and lost anyway. And don't say, oh, CD was hurt, because we can talk about players that were hurt for the Panthers. Like I said, they ran for 200-something yards with over 50% of their offensive line and their starting running back hurt. I think CD is very good. I don't know if he's better than half of an offensive line and a starting running back. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a little bit of breaking news we're going to get to after the break. Some preseason awards out of the college basketball world being revealed today. But before we do that, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here for Loan Pronto. Folks, are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, maybe watching all of your hard-earned money just vanish away every single month? Well, stop that nonsense. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases, and here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Imagine this. Lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let high rates hold you back, folks. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will give you some preseason award selections in ACC basketball coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
Trust, a simple word looming large over Carolina football today. Reports have become reality, and so much it looks like we're publicly witnessing a couple renewing their vows after a long marriage. The problem is these renewals are coming way before the first anniversary of the relationship, and that's tough timing if you trust they'll stay together.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay-Varina. And people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $12,000 off a new 2025 Silverado 1500. Includes trade assistance. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
Waking up, getting ready, sitting in traffic. Let's face it, getting to work in the morning is a lot of work. But when you get a great deal on your favorite McDonald's coffee, becoming a morning person is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now get any size refreshingly cold iced coffee for $1, a delicious mocha for $2, and a frappe for $3. Available only during breakfast hours. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
He's got Robinson with him. Hall. Robinson, he scores! Everybody pulling the rope tonight for Carolina. Eric Robinson's first of the year makes it 6-3 with 12.6 left here in the third. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I love a hockey goal that makes the game seem way more out of reach than it was. Kane's got the add-on from Robinson last game, made it 6-3. Game was 3 apiece 4 minutes earlier. Just at the end of the year when people are just scrolling through the schedule, they're just going to see 6-3. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As promised before the break, we have preseason ACC poll and preseason ACC awards to pass along to you. We'll start with the preseason ACC poll results. Duke picked to finish first. They had 34 first-place votes. Louisville picked to finish second, 15 preseason number one votes. Nobody else with a number one first-place vote, but North Carolina third, NC State fourth, Virginia fifth. That is also the exact same order as they came in the AP poll that we talked about earlier today.
That's true.
Obviously, there are other teams from other conferences mixed in there on the AP poll, but in the ACC preseason poll, it goes Duke, Louisville, UNC, NC State, Virginia, then SMU, Clemson, Miami, Syracuse, Notre Dame, Wake Forest in 11th, and other teams beyond that. I think it's fair. I think it's kind of where it should be. No huge qualms. Looking at the preseason All-ACC teams, which were also revealed. The first team, Cam Boozer, freshman for Duke. Darian Williams, NC State incoming transfer from Texas Tech, who was all Big 12 last year. Marcus Burton from Notre Dame, he fills it up scoring. Michael Brown Jr. from Louisville, one of the returning good players for Louisville, with a whole bunch of transfers around him. Speaking of a whole bunch of transfers around him, Ryan Conwell, also on the first team. We spoke with him at ACC tip-off.
We did, friend of the program.
Friend of the program, Ryan Conwell.
As is Darian Williams.
As is Darian Williams. And we'll do our best to become friends with the rest. Second team, Boopy Miller, who was at Wake Forest a couple of years ago.
Was.
Transferred to SMU, had a good season last year, dealt with some injuries. He's second team All-ACC preseason this year, as is J.J. Starling from Syracuse, big boy. Isaiah Evans from Duke, second team, so they're expecting a step up from him just like we are. Bai Ndongo, one of the more athletic players in the ACC, from Georgia Tech, also on the second team. And Caleb Wilson, the freshman from North Carolina, also on the second team.
Fair. All fair.
I think all fair.
Yeah.
I'll go fair. There's a distinct top three, I would say, in the first team. Boozer, Williams, Burton. They all received at least 45 of the 49 votes on the first team. Or 49 points, I guess it would be.
No, it's 49
No, 49,
votes.
Yeah, 49 votes. You're right. Or I'm right. And now you're right, correcting me back to being right. Beyond there, like, if Ryan Conwell bumped down and somebody from the second team bumped up, like, I wouldn't have huge qualms. But the top 10, I'm good with that, first and second team. If you want to bump Caleb Wilson up, I'd be fine with that as well. I think the expectations are high. I do struggle with where to put freshmen a lot of times on these preseason lists, but he appears to be one that's coming in with a role and expectations that are pretty good. ACC preseason player of the year, Darian Williams, NC State. I thought it was interesting, 23 votes to Cameron Boozer from Duke's 19. So the freshman just 4 votes out of ACC preseason player of the year. Darian Williams, though, he comes with bona fides.
Yeah.
He's proven at the college level. He did it at Texas Tech the past couple of years. And it's funny. He also won our All-Aura award, or at least for me, at ACC tip-off, as far as the person who walks in a room and commands it, whether they're trying to or not. He had some fighting words for Hubert Davis at the podium, calling him out for how he's treated some of Darian Williams' teammates in the past, a teammate that he played with at Texas Tech, and then Alan Lubin, who he's playing with at NC State. So he's not afraid to ruffle feathers and play in the spotlight, and he's now the preseason player of the year in the ACC. I would also say this, because Cameron Boozer would have been a deserving choice as well, right? He's one of the top recruits in the country. I think State has built a very nice cocoon nest for Darian Williams, where they are expecting and need him to have a certain level of production. Cameron Boozer, I do think, can start the season a little, I don't want to say passive, but he could be a distributor. He can be other, like Isaiah Evans can score with the best of them. He's second team All-ACC, right? And you could lean on Dame Sarr, who's a I think underrated recruit for Duke. If you look at the way NC State built their team, they've got a lot of good players. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's a Darian Williams elite production puzzle piece kind of right in the middle of their roster that he needs to fit into. So it's probably a higher percentage that he has the impressive resume at the end just because the State needs him to. The rest of the ACC preseason player of the year voting went 23 votes for Williams, 19 for Boozer. Nobody else had more than 2. J.J. Starling and Marcus Burton from Syracuse and Notre Dame with 2 apiece. Donald Hand Jr. from Boston College got 1.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Bayan Dongo from Georgia Tech had 1. Caleb Wilson from North Carolina had 1. ACC preseason rookie of the year, Cameron Boozer received 43 votes. Nobody else more than 3. Michael Brown Jr., I said a returnee for Louisville. I should have corrected myself. He's just not a transfer. He is an incoming freshman player, so he is an ACC preseason rookie of the year, second place with 3 votes. Caleb Wilson, North Carolina, just 2. And you want to try to pronounce that one for me? Neoklis Avdalas from Virginia Tech also received a vote.
Nailed it.
All right. I apologize if anything was mispronounced in this segment.
You could say it. You could go like full Dabo Sweeney and say Michael Brown Jr. is a transfer from high school.
I could have. And then Louisville just has even more transfers.
There's more transfers.
The number 3 ranked transfer class and also a pretty good ranked transfer class from high school. Looking at the preseason rookie of the year, I think Caleb Wilson probably should have had a few more there. I've told this story a few times. I told it at ACC tip-off. Talking with, and we should go put these little rapid scouting reports somewhere. We talked with Malik Brown of Duke, veteran player, and we talked with Henry Vessar of UNC, and I asked them to give kind of quick little, one or 2 sentence scouting reports of their new teammates, and I rapid fired them. And when I talked to Malik Brown and I said, Cameron Boozer, he kind of chuckled and just went, dog. And then we were talking with Henry Vessar, which actually happened previous. When I brought up Caleb Wilson, he kind of chuckled and he went, dog. And I went, okay, similar responses there from veterans that have been around college basketball for a few years. So I'm expecting big things from both of them. And I've seen some practice clips of Caleb Wilson. He moves pretty unique for a guy that's like 6'10". He has some body control. So there you go. Any other reactions that I missed, Dennis? Anything you'd like to add?
No, just Darian Williams. I think he's the first NC State basketball player since C.J. Leslie back in 2013 to be ACC preseason player of the year. So, yeah, Darian Williams. A lot of people are expecting a lot of big things from NC State this year. But plain and simple, a lot of people are expecting big from State.
Except for the AP poll voters who put him number 26 out of 25.
You know what? That's still not bad.
True. It's not bad. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's it for a little ACC basketball preseason stuff. Do we want to go ladder challenge here, Dennis? All right, ladder challenge. Let's make it happen.
Oh, my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half.
It's been so long we've been out of the office, as they say. For so long we haven't done this in a long time, but I'll give you this.
We did the equivalent of Arcane's road trip.
We did.
That's what we did last week.
Stay Fair road trip. But I'm back to 10.
Oh, you are?
One of my draft darlings. I don't think I'm wrong on this. I think actually the Texans are wrong on this. They don't give the ball to Woody Marks enough.
Oh, okay.
I had Woody 50 plus rushing and plus actually I need to double check. I know he didn't have 50 rushing yards. I didn't realize. I need to go check my tickets. Hold on. You talk about what happened for you last time we did it.
So last time I actually had Patrick Mahomes against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a Monday Night Football game. Just to have at least one passing touchdown, which he did, which was a minus 880. So that put me up to $17.71.
Oh, no, he didn't catch any passes. So, yes, I still – adding the receiving yards didn't help me at all.
None of them?
Yeah, he did have a target. Just didn't have any catches. So he didn't get to 50 rushing plus receiving yards. So I'm back down to $10. As the leader, you get to start us off.
So I'm going to go classic. It's hockey season, folks. It is hockey season, which you know me. I got to have my shots on goal. This one's pretty simple. Seth Jarvis, 2+ shots on goal tonight. 2+ shots on goal. It's a minus 525. My $17.71 will turn into $21.08.
My turn.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to a tried and true as well, which is overthinking it and getting a bunch of statistical numbers. I'm taking the Dodgers over 1.5 runs. They have to score at least 2, and you may say, well, what numbers do you have? Well, I have this. You have to go back to October 14th, which is actually today, 2022, so years ago, to find a postseason game when the Dodgers didn't score at least 2 runs. That is 27 consecutive postseason games with at least 2 runs scored by the Dodgers, and it's only minus 525. So it's right up against the highest payout border that we have in our minus 500 to minus 1,000 kind of parameters. So it'll turn my $10 into $11.90 as I get back rolling after a wrong pick and then a long hiatus. We are back in the ladder challenge, and we're back rooting for the Dodgers, even though I'm not a Dodgers fan. That's the ladder challenge. We'll update you tomorrow and do it again, hopefully with a couple of winners. Now let's jump to a little copper drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
Dennis, what are we doing?
All right, so cop or drop. Let's go right into ACC basketball. So just got that breaking news. Darian Williams, ACC preseason player of the year in men's basketball. Cop or drop. Darian Williams will finish the season as the ACC Player of the Year from NC State. Cop or drop.
All right, we're back to one of my official rules of gambling.
Okay.
It's almost always a good bet to take the field. When it's 1 against all, it's tough. I do think Darian Williams is the one player most likely to be the ACC postseason Player of the Year. But if you give me everybody else's chances added up, I'm taking everybody else. Give me the field, which means it could be Cam Boozer, it could be Caleb Wilson, could be Marcus Burton, could be somebody flying out of nowhere, could be Isaiah Evans, right? Could be anybody who kind of catches fire. I'm taking the field, so I am dropping Darian Williams versus the field. However, I would be copping it if it was like he's the best bet to win, because I do think he is.
Okay, well, how about this one? Duke picked to finish number 1 overall in the ACC this year. Cop or drop. Duke wins the regular season of ACC basketball this year.
I do think this is a little different than what I was just explaining for this reason. It's not subjective, right? If Duke wins the games, then they will win the ACC. Darian Williams might lead the league in scoring, and for whatever reason, the voters could go, I actually like the well-rounded game of so-and-so else. So I do think I'm more confident maybe that Duke would win the ACC than Darian Williams would win ACC Player of the Year, just because people are hard to predict and it's subjective. But again, I think it's smart to take the field. Louisville's no joke this year. Based on what Pat Kelsey did in year 1 and then what he did in the transfer portal, bringing in just hooters. And as you know, if you listen to the show, the more syllables you put in shooter, the better percentage you shoot. Louisville has some hooters out there. So, and then you mix in State and you mix in a few others, and yeah, I'm taking the field again. So I'm dropping Duke. But similar to Darian Williams, I do agree that they have the best percentage of any individual team to win the ACC.
Okay, let's keep on the ACC basketball theme since we got that breaking news just a little bit ago from the ACC. Cop or drop, a coach from the Triangle will win ACC Men's Basketball Coach of the Year. Coach from the Triangle. So we're talking Hubert Davis, John Shire, Will Wade.
I think if there's an option, it'd probably be Will Wade. Just because there's a few cheat codes to winning Coach of the Year in any conference or any sport. It's kind of like when you see Leonardo DiCaprio in a period piece speaking with an accent. You're like, okay, he's going for the Oscar, isn't he? He's got the nuts and bolts of the foundation is built. When you take over a new program and hit the transfer portal hard, you're setting yourself up to be a Coach of the Year, right? Because it's look at everything he did. Look at all the work and look at how good they are. Could also blow up in your face. But it's very difficult to win Coach of the Year when you were just improving on a roster that you had last year. Or else, the Blue Bloods would win every year, right? The good teams that are just good every year would win Coach of the Year every year because it's you're coaching the best team and you're building the best roster. So I think the best chance is Will Wade. Hubert Davis could because UNC had a down year. I think it'd be nearly impossible for John Shire to make it to a Final Four and then the next year win Coach of the Year. So with the two of them, can I get Wake too?
No, I just said the Triangle.
I know, but I'm negotiating.
No, there's no negotiation here. Either you're copping or you're dropping.
I'm dropping.
Okay.
I'm dropping. But I don't like it because I do think there's a good chance either of them can make it.
I could see potentially if Virginia has a big year, Ryan Odom.
I think if Virginia has a big year, I think if anyone outside of the 4 teams we've been talking about, Duke, UNC, State, and Louisville, if any of them are in the mix for an ACC championship at the end of the year, I think that coach would win almost hands down just by the nature of how the expectations weren't for them to be there. So I am dropping.
All right, next one here. Let's actually switch focus over here to the Carolina Panthers. When Chuba Hubbard returns, whenever that might be, when Chuba Hubbard returns, Rico Dowdle will still get more carries than Chuba Hubbard after Chuba Hubbard returns. Cop or drop?
Are we talking for the rest of the season or for that game?
For the rest of the season.
Copping. Does anyone realize how good Rico Dowdle has been? I know we're infatuated by the numbers. Mm-hmm. He's been a better running back. And on top of that, he has more juice, right? He in the last 2 weeks, how many plays over 38 yards has he had?
A lot.
I'm thinking 3 that I see right out the gate. The long catch this week.
That was 36.
Okay, so around there. And then there was the 40-yarder and the 50-yarder in his first game as the starter. Chuba Hubbard's never had a run over 38 yards. So
went for a touchdown at least.
Oh, so could have been more.
Could have been more.
Ran out of real estate.
Ran out of grass.
Well, I guess you're right because Rico's were both. Well, then the 36-yard catch could have been a 1,000-yard catch.
Same thing.
I think Rico has earned the right to be 1A if they go to a running back by committee. He may have earned the right to be 1 with Chuba Hubbard 2, but we have to see how that develops.
Actually, final one here. This one comes from our YouTube live chat. This one comes from Steve. Copper drop. Tim will retire from sports talk and become a game show host. Copper drop.
I do want to. No, I'm kidding. That I get to scratch that itch with the
numbers game.
With the numbers game. So I don't need to do any kind of career changing. This is not a joke. I would feel so much stress as a game show host. Like when I
gotta deliver every single time.
When I watch like Family Feud and Steve Harvey has to do Fast Money, I would be so like, you got $20,000 on the line for these families, and if I don't read it fast enough, you might not get it. Like I'm not built for that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's go ahead and round up Copper Drop. And let's move towards a different game that we like to play. It's called Canes First Goal Score Predictions. It is a hockey night in Carolina, everybody. Which means the Canes are playing tonight. It's a late night, 10 o'clock Eastern time, because they're out on the West Coast up against San Jose. Are we going to take callers on this one?
We'll take 3. We have no prize right now,
but
we'll still take 3 callers.
But we do have a prize. It's the honor and the bragging rights
that is true
that come with knowing hockey. And I'll at least give you shouts out on the show and shout outs on social media and everything if you get it right. Basically, we're looking for 2 pieces of information. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period? Heister Automotive Group Hotline is where we want to hear from you. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now with who you think will score the first goal for the Canes and in what period you think they will score. 919-860-5326 for the glory that comes with saying you know Canes hockey. And I know I gave a shout-out on air for this person last week, but I want to do it again because he nailed it. Thomas Wilson on Twitter gave me Taylor Hall in the first for Game 1, and he was the only one. Because it was Game 1, we were out on location. We got hundreds of predictions on Twitter and our YouTube comments. We didn't actually open up the phone lines for Game 1, but we had hundreds come in, and he was the only person to guess Taylor Hall in the first. So there you go. And I did talk about this earlier, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. I think there's a bit of growing, like the fan base, meaning many of you, acknowledge how crazy it is. We all have thoughts like this where you're thinking it and you're going, that's stupid. Why am I thinking it? Right? It's you I don't know, are in the ocean and you're like, there's probably a shark there. And you're like, nah, the percentages are, it's nearly impossible. Why am I so crazy for having this thought? But you can't help it. I think the fan base is slightly worried about Nikolai Ehlers having not scored through 2 games. And because of that, you're trying to will it into existence. A lot of the predictions have been Nikolai Ehlers to score. We'll see what the callers do. The lines are full. We have Jordan in Raleigh leading things off. Jordan in Raleigh. Who scores the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period?
Logan Stankoven, second period.
Stanky in the second. Do you want to give any more details just for bragging rights? Is it a power play? Is there an assist? Or anything else you want to give us?
I just think he's going to give a good little slap.
All right. I like it. Jordan, you are locked in, and we will give you your credit if you get it right. That brings us up next to Cameron in Raleigh. Cameron, are you there?
Yes. Aho in the first.
Aho in the first? Is that what you said?
Yes.
All right. Any more details you want to lock in? Is it power play? Is it assisted by Jarvis? Anything like that?
Power play, bar down.
Bar down. Love it. Thank you very much, Cameron. That was
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Thank you. He said power play, bar down.
Let's go.
Cameron, that's a great prediction. Whether it happens or not, I'm giving you credit. Leo in Chapel Hill, round us out for the callers. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
Jarvis in the first. Power play.
Jarvis on the power play in the first. Love it. Thank you very much, Leo. You are locked in. So we have from Jordan in Raleigh, Stanky in the second on a slap. We have Cameron in Raleigh going with Aho in the first. It's a power play, bar down. We have Leo in Chapel Hill locking in Jarvis in the first on the power play. And Dennis, it's your turn. Who scores the first goal of the game for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period?
I was debating this one quite a bit.
Then make sure you tell us all of the finalists so we can tell you you're foolish if one of the others happens.
Oh,
and you
of
don't lock
course.
it in.
I was 100% like, well, Nikolai Ehlers, of course, right? He's got to make this happen. Part of me also was thinking, hey, this is a great opportunity for Shane Goss to spare, maybe on the power play to get a goal, maybe early in the first period as well. But give me Jackson Blake.
Oh,
give me Jackson
Blakers.
Blake in the first period off a nice little 3-on-2 rush with Stankoven and Svetch. Give me Jackson Blake cleaning up right there in the blue paint. 5:17 into this one.
5:17 into or 5:17 left?
Into.
All right, so early. Mine, as you know, I love a narrative bet.
Yeah.
I love revenge games. I love games where players are a little extra motivated. I'm going to one of my guys.
Yeah.
Jalen Chatfield.
Chatfield, yep. I thought about it too.
And guess who it is very obviously against? Dmitry Orlov, his old skating partner.
Of course.
I know everything about you. We've been studying it. I know everything you do. I know all your tricks. Watch this, Dmitry. And he's going to give him the business. Especially with Slavin not playing today, I wouldn't be surprised if Chatfield gets a little extra run.
He might. Skating alongside Mike Riley today. Comebread says, on a YouTube live chat, Comebread says, Ehlers in the first with the assist from Nikishin.
Okay. Nikishin's getting, by the way, Nikishin has assists in the first two games.
He does.
Fan base is noticing he's getting a lot of love for so-and-so scores, assist to Nikishin. A lot of people are predicting it.
And he might get a little more ice time over these next few games as well with no Jacob Slavin there.
Very true.
We also have from Rinktastic says Stanky in the first period. Steve says Taylor Hall in the first period. Brandon R says Jarvis in the second. Kevin says Aho within first 2 minutes.
All right, I've got a bunch on Twitter to get to here as well.
Real quick, our good friend Micah
Okay.
says it's going to be Svetch in the first period off of an Orlov turnover. And D. Ely says Nikishin in the first.
All right. I like all of those.
Yeah.
Will on Twitter says Jankowski early in the third after the team gets inexplicably goalied for most of the game.
Okay. Well, they are playing Alex Nedeljkovic, former Kane.
We have Ehlers in the first from Pete. We have Nikishin first half of the first period after an aggressive pinch.
Okay.
We have Ehlers from Nikishin and Aho off a faceoff 12 minutes into the first. That's coming from Jacob. Ambling Gene just says Svetch. Ryan May. Chatfield first period goal. Like it, Ryan. Great minds think alike. Whoever Whaler Kane is says, I've been absolutely brutal regarding my assessments of Svetch to this point. So, of course, he will score tonight in the first to make me look bad. We have Katie going with Carrier. We have AB going with Blake in the first alongside Dennis. We have Griff with Gostisbehere. We appreciate all of you. We can't read them all because sometimes there's just not enough time. But we appreciate everybody that plays in our little first goal scorer game here. And if you get it right, I will make sure that you get your props, whether we read it on air or not, as long as the tweet comes in, at least to my account, ahead of game time.
Brian also on the YouTube live chat said Ehlers in the first.
A lot of Ehlers.
A lot of Ehlers. Well, he's back. He's back playing in the Western Conference. Teams he's used to playing against.
I do hope. I do hope it's not like a time zone thing. Like he can only score on the Pacific time zone. He goes and tallies a whole bunch on a road trip, comes home, and he's like, I don't know. I'm waking up in weird times of the night. I haven't gotten used to it yet. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's first goal scorer predictions, and we have a feedback frenzy coming up, so we'll hear from many of you again. But first, here's Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. We always talk about in sports, and we hear in sports, and people may have played sports, you always work on the basics, you work on the fundamentals to try and improve your game or reinforce some different things. That way you continue to stay sharp with your skills. And as a motorcycle rider, that's actually something that you should continue to do yourself. Continue to focus on the basics and fundamentals. Actually, something that I did yesterday leaving the studio. The parking lot was empty. I went to the back area, and I went and worked on some slow-speed maneuvers because it's the motorcycle that I have, I've only really had for about 3 weeks now. I'm still figuring out the bike and understanding the bike, and practicing and doing some slow-speed maneuvers helps me understand my bike even further. So I know when I get out there on the road, I know how my bike will handle That's something you always have to keep in mind as well. If you get a new bike or get a new motorcycle, understand how the bike operates, and you have to get used to it as well. Not every bike is the same. So practicing, doing the basic things to make sure you stay sharp helps you stay safe on the road. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, this is where Law Tigers steps in. Give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, even before you get in contact with the insurance company. Law Tigers, they're there to fight for you. They understand what your bike and gear are worth, but most importantly, they understand the dangers of the road because they are part of the motorcycle riding community. Your case evaluation with them is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Give them a call if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, even before you contact the insurance company. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Feedback Frenzy. Coming up next here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
Do you have a smartphone? Of course you do. Do you have a pocket or pouch or human hand to hold your smartphone? Then you have no excuse. Download the 99.9 The Fan brand new app today and take us with you wherever you go. Your favorite hosts, podcasts, and live sports action all in one place. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Finally, there's an app for 99.9 The Fan. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Longevity, Social Security, and inflation are three of retirement's biggest challenges. Does your plan account for these risks? Joining me now is Coach Pete, president and founder of Capital Financial. So, Coach, tell me, how does a sound financial strategy help folks be prepared for these risks?
Well, the way we design our plans, longevity, your plan lasts as long as you're here and your spouse is here. It never goes away, and you always get at least the same income you started with, if not more. Social Security, it's important to do the claiming strategies the right way because you could be costing yourself money. My team does a Social Security planning strategy for every single caller. And inflation's your friend. If we have high inflation, you're getting higher interest rates for you. But inflation does cost more. We need to account for that in our plan. We do all this in our total retirement plan. We can do it for you at no cost if you call right now.
Connect with a fiduciary planning team. 888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
Catch every single moment. The Dugout Tavern and Grill is an official member of the Canes Bar Network. With the NHL package, we broadcast all available games on the 16-foot high-definition video wall. Soak in the energy on our indoor-outdoor patio and bar, where you can see and hear the games. Plus, enjoy drink specials and a terrific menu. It's like you're on the ice, but better. The Dugout Tavern and Grill, Kelly Road in Apex, and thedugouttavern.com.
Bryce to throw, steps up, eludes the rush, throws to the end zone, touchdown, Tataroa McMillan. The Panthers retake the lead, 26-24.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We like hearing from many of you. It's why we do things like first goal scorer prediction. It's why we are constantly in our YouTube live stream comments reading, and our YouTube video comments, reading what's going on. Not just the live stream, the podcast and everything else. And our social medias, 99.9 The Fan on social medias everywhere. Search for it, follow us, subscribe, all those things. Which, by the way, we're almost at 20,000 YouTube subscribers. And when we get to 20,000, we will be giving away something awesome to one of those subscribers. So go to YouTube, subscribe to 99.9 The Fan, the channel, and you might win something awesome. Also, if you go to 99.9 The Fan, subscribe, and then comment under videos, you might hear your comment on a feedback frenzy, which is what we're doing right now. Dennis, what are you reading from the people?
All right, so we had conversations yesterday about Bill Belichick, and he actually responded to the criticism, talking to the media for the first time yesterday. And somebody just simply wants to know, when it comes to Bill Belichick and moving forward when it comes to the team, is Bill Belichick going to go back to Gio Lopez against Cal, or is he going to stick with Max Johnson?
Fantastic question. Do you know what's funny about that? I think the actual football conversations about UNC have gotten so far from front of mind that it's a great question that I don't think anyone even really has thought to have conversations about, because we're all just having conversations about did they give impermissible benefits to this guy? Why is this coach suspended? Who is this source? What is this happening? Are they tweeting about Drake May? Who's at fault? Will they have the money if they want to move on? What's the buyout? Will James Franklin like to come to the area? There's a lot of different things going on. I think you roll with Johnson at this point. He threw for over 200 yards. I'm not saying things went well, but I'm saying better than what you were getting out of Gio Lopez.
Does it matter at this point? Was it that much better?
It was a better passing total than what you've gotten out of Gio Lopez. Which, by the way, it's the second time Johnson's led him in passing yardage, because he did in the opener after Gio Lopez left with an injury as well. So, yeah, I think you roll with Johnson and you figure it out from there.
All right, let's go to a little bit of Carolina Panthers conversation. So we talked about yesterday about how the Carolina Panthers really leaned into their identity.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes from Young Bars.
Young Bars
26 on a YouTube comment said, "I literally am crying and have been since the game started. I'm so emotional because this is our identity. This is our identity that we need to keep. Shout out to the offensive line and Rico and the whole team." Got people in tears out here, Tim.
Hey.
Got people here in tears.
It's been a while. When's the last time the Panthers won back-to-back games?
Sometime last year.
Did they actually pull out back-to-back? Were they both at home? Because I think that's different.
I have to go back and look and see. It was actually... They beat the Saints at home, and then I think they went to Germany the week after and won, which technically was a home game for the Panthers out in Germany.
They've claimed Germany?
Yes, they've claimed Germany.
Either way, it doesn't happen often, so yeah, enjoy it, right? Like I say, celebrate every win. The identity thing, I agree. That is, when they're playing their best, the way they've played the last two games, running the football, stopping the run, that's what you want. I do think it's going to be more difficult to, it's not a blueprint that you can just follow every game, right? It's not just, hey, we'll run for 200, we'll stop the run. That's awesome. It doesn't happen that way easily. So I do think they need, backup plans and plan Bs and plan Cs. But if you can execute plan A, keep doing it. Don't go away from it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
This one comes from St. Crimson. On that same lines. I love the strides that the Carolina Panthers are making, but if I'm being honest, that pressure on the quarterback needs to turn all the way up to really make this a complete turnaround. It's referring to Bryce Young.
That pressure on the quarterback.
Yes.
So they're not talking defense pressuring the other team's
quarterback?
Actually,
I take that back. So that pressure on the quarterback needs to turn all the way up in order to make it complete. Maybe they actually are talking about the defense. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry, I take this back.
The thing that I will forever be yelling about the defense is they just need playmakers. We've talked about havoc rating, which is a fancy way to say it was any play that ends in an interception, a pass breakup, a sack, a forced fumble,
tackle for a loss.
There's a bunch of different, basically a play that you would celebrate as a defensive player. The Panthers are still dead last in the league. They're a little, I think it's 25%, maybe 25.3 if I'm guessing here. They're still dead last in the league. They need players that make things happen. And if you find one, keep them on the field as much as possible. Here you go, I have it. It is the percentage of plays that a defense gets a pressure, a tackle for a loss, a forced fumble, an interception, or a pass breakup. The Panthers are dead last at 25.1%. Then Jets, then Bengals, then Ravens, then Titans. They're behind some not good defenses. Number one is the Broncos at almost 45%. So that's what I whether it's pressures, whether it's interceptions. They just need some of those spike plays, some of those buzz plays. I don't care who makes them.
All right, let's go on to the bit of the Carolina Hurricanes. So early on, early on the season through the first couple of games, obviously 2-0 for the Carolina Hurricanes. This one comes from our good friend Boris. Boris says the Carolina Hurricanes' passing and puck awareness were better in night one, Thursday night, than they've seen in quite a while. Just, I guess, the increase in skill overall. But anyway, just a big fan of how they looked so far through 2 games.
I am also a big fan of that. I think they looked better in game 1 than game 2. They won them both, so, credit there. As much as the skill has popped for me, I was kind of expecting that. The overall team speed has been the number one thing that, for me, I like when I'm watching, my eyes have to get used to it. Just like, whoa, that looks different. They're a more athletic bunch now, which maybe comes with a little bit less experience, a little bit less, wily veteranship, but they can move. They can flat out go. That's what stood out to me the most. Although, yes, there are some players they added with tremendous amounts of skill.
All right, this one comes from Jay. Jay says, talking about the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, might be looking at a Dmitry Orlov and Alexander Nedeljkovic revenge game tonight. Because Nedeljkovic is going to be the starting goaltender for the San Jose Sharks tonight, who does have an overtime loss on his ledger so far this year. And Dmitry Orlov, first game against his old squad.
I'm
obviously not back in town, so no tribute videos tonight.
Better not be. I'm trying to think.
I mean, he's at home. I don't see why they would.
That'd be funny if they did a tribute video.
They should do a tribute video.
If the
to
Sharks
Orlov.
did a tribute video, that'd be
hilarious. Actually kind of funny. Maybe that's how you do it.
I would be in.
That's how you do it.
You do it against the old team in your place. I'm fine with that.
So yeah, when the Rangers come in town, the Canes do a tribute video for Keandre Miller.
You know who else is on San Jose? He's probably had more opportunities for revenge games.
Yeah,
Jeff Skinner.
Jeff Skinner's on the Sharks?
When
did this happen? I know he's with Edmonton last year.
I just brought up their lines on Daily Faceoff because I was like, let me see if there's any other potential revenge games.
That's weird.
They have him as a winger on their second line.
Okay, there's that. Jeff Skinner, there's a name for y'all.
There you go.
All right, final one here. This one comes from Stewart.
The Skinner trade brought in Nikishin, right? The pick that became Nikishin. Am I making that up?
May have been. I have to go back and look at that.
I think it was Piotr and Nikishin were picks that were made on the Skinner trade, but I could be making that up. Sorry.
I'll have to go back and look that up. All right, final one here. Earlier, we were having a conversation about the Carolina Panthers needing more credit for their win against the Dallas Cowboys this past Sunday, and you talk about the running game and so on, and how Rico Dowdle's been strong. Stewart on our YouTube live comment says, "Why is running the ball and stopping the run not a formula for success? And you always need 200 yards rushing from your running back."
It is a formula for success. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to do. That's the issue. And in the NFL, it just doesn't happen anymore. Like, I saw this the other day.
Teams throw the ball 60+% of the time.
I saw the other day because I said something about it being Rico Dowdle's backfield. And one of the responses was, you must not have been around when D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart both had 1,100 yards rushing. And I went back and looked it up. The year that they both had 1,100 yards rushing, the leading touchdown thrower in the league was like 33, which was a ton at the time. But I think last year there were like 6 guys with 40-something. Like the offenses have changed since then. The rules have become easier to pass. Defenses have a harder time. You can't hit the quarterback. There's all of these other things happening that if you're not taking advantage of, you are giving the advantage to the opponent. So, listen, I'm all for the running game being effective and stopping the run and winning that way. I just think the Panthers need to be prepared for what happens if you fall behind. What happens if Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard have 15 carries between them and 28 yards. What do you do there? Because it's going to happen. You can't just be a one-trick pony. Unless that one trick is unreal, right? Like, the Chiefs don't have a running game. It's like, yeah, but they got Patrick Mahomes. But there you go. It's a little different there. So there you go. That is a feedback frenzy. Here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. And right now, here is Dennis Cox.
That's right, Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I actually, this past weekend, my fiance were out and about. I needed to go buy a new belt because all the belts I have are too big on me now. It's a good problem to have, and that's actually something that I've noticed over the last 10 weeks with Raleigh Weight Loss Center since I started the program. I've lost 40 pounds, and a lot of my clothes are not only fitting better, some of them are actually starting to fit a little bit too loose, which, again, I say that's a good problem to have. I have felt in months past and years past, the discomfort of when your clothes feel a little bit too snug and you're sitting around or you're trying to take a picture or whatever it might be. I understand that feeling, and I've experienced that. And thankfully to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, I've been able to stay on a plan, stay on a program where I've lost 40 pounds. And not only have I lost 40 pounds, I've been able to maintain that weight as well. That's the whole purpose of the goal at Raleigh Weight Loss Center, is to help you maintain that goal weight that you get down to. Not just lose it, but keep it there. I've lost over 13% of my body weight. 13% of my body weight, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you want to get onto the program, or if you just have questions about the program, you're curious about Raleigh Weight Loss Center, give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Just free, no obligation, 15-minute phone call. Just ask questions, see what the program's all about, see if the program is fit for you. If you have health concerns or questions, that's what the free 15-minute phone call is for. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com, or give them a call, 919-897-7506, 919-897-7506, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, has the starting five next. Don't go anywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, Bradley Nadeau had a great preseason. I thought he was really impressive other than the first game. He scored 3 goals, actually 4, even though one was chalked off for being offside. And I think we got a glimpse of the future. Even though he's going to start the season with the Chicago Wolves in the American Hockey League, I think we got a glimpse of somebody who's going to be with the Hurricanes sooner rather than later and will be part of their future.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Fall is here, and so are the savings at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. During our Drive into Fall event, get 20% off any new 2025 Ram 1500. That's right, 20% off one of the toughest trucks on the road. Nothing stops Ram. Or take advantage of 0% APR for 72 months. See dealer for details. You choose how you save, so get off your keister and get to Heister. No one in this area has a better selection to choose from. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let the high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Temperatures are dipping into the 60s this evening. Still a lot of clouds holding on, but overnight those clouds clear. Temperatures fall into the mid-50s by daybreak. And it ends up being a beautiful, mostly sunny day on Wednesday, 77 degrees the high.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. PacketPreps.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 202 points today to 46,270.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe to our YouTube, please. 99.9 The Fan. We are, a handful, a couple dozen. We are less than 40 away from 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I really want to get there. It's the end of a marathon where you can see the big inflatable like archway that you're going to run through, and suddenly you're like, sprint, even though you couldn't move your legs like 6 minutes before. Just go to 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, find our channel, subscribe, and tell your friends to do the same.
30 away.
We only need 30.
Come on, let's get this by the end of this hour.
Do it now. I feel like get one of those old school like telethons where you're like, call right now. Pledge, we need to save these, whatever the charity is for. Just go right now. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe. We'll get to 20,000, and then we'll I believe once we hit 20,000, we'll be able to announce what we're giving away.
That's correct.
So there you go. Make it so I don't have to keep secrets. I get very nervous on air when I have to keep secrets that I'm going to let it fly. 99.9 The Fan, YouTube, subscribe. Now let's start with the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So the Carolina Panthers are dealing with a lot of situations that they don't deal with often, right? They've won 3 of their last 4. Okay, things are going well. They beat the Dolphins. They beat the Cowboys. Things are looking up. They have some high-profile guys coming off an injury. Okay, Austin Corbett, one of their, at the time when he got hurt, starting offensive lineman. They activated his 21-day practice window coming off injury. Jalen Coker has had his 21-day practice window activated since last Wednesday, and practiced in full all week last week. Still wasn't activated off of the 21-day practice window. But that's, I would say, I'd be very surprised if he's not activated this week. Chuba Hubbard, right, depending on how his injury is progressing, could be ready to play coming up this weekend. This is, again, something the Panthers haven't had to deal with. Usually every time like a player, a veteran, somebody you're comfortable playing comes off injury, it's great. All hands on deck. Let's roll. Do you rock the boat? Like, do you right now it's going well. Like if Chuba Hubbard comes back and he says, Coach, I'm 100% healthy. Do you go, all right, well, let's see if Rico still has it going. If he doesn't, we'll play you starting in the second quarter, because right now Rico's seeing the field, right? Jalen Coker. I think you play him. I don't know if outside of Teteroa and McMillan, there's a ton of wide receivers that are doing great things, but still, right? Obviously, Austin Corbett, Cade Mays at center is playing as well as I've seen a center play for the Panthers in a little bit of time.
I think Corbett slides into the backup interior offensive lineman.
So backup guard, and center.
Yep.
Which then hopefully you don't need him. But it's just it's becoming a situation where it's like, you know what, the run game's playing so well. Do you want to start putting in guys that might throw off that rhythm that they're in, because the rhythm is nice.
And Brady Christensen's playing well as a right guard right now. I don't see why you make that move either.
And also there is a sliding scale. Robert Hunt, when you're healthy, you're in there, buddy. Obviously it's going to be significantly more time for him, but it's just, I don't know if Corbett is that kind of guy. It's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together. What?
So, the Carolina Tar Heels football program, what's been going on with them recently? Haven't heard any. No, I'm kidding. Bill Belichick had a press conference yesterday. I said this yesterday, and I don't think it's 100% accurate, so I want to make sure I clarify. Yesterday I said he held a press conference to address all of the dysfunction reports coming out of the program. He held a press conference because it was his media availability that he has every game week.
Yeah, it's his mandatory media availability.
He didn't hold it to address. He held the press conference and addressed the reports of dysfunction out of the program. So I just wanted to clarify that little slip of the tongue to make sure I was reporting everything accurately. But with that being said, he did talk about all of the reports and dysfunction, or reports of dysfunction coming out of his program. And part of that was also addressing that the results on the field have not been what they want. They're losing games that they'd like to win. The games they've won haven't been as dominant as they'd like, I'd say, outside of Richmond. So obviously the Charlotte game. And he really only acknowledged one cause, right? Throughout it, he doubled and tripled down on their culture, on their structure, on the people they have in charge, on the way they've been doing things, basically saying, we're not wrong, you're just early, right? It's going to happen, it just takes time. But he did acknowledge one thing that could be a cause of why the on-field product hasn't been where it wants to be. And he says it's basically they were late to recruiting. And here's the audio from Belichick at the presser.
When we got here, we had 3 defensive linemen. I mean, you can't practice with 3 defensive linemen. We went out and signed a lot of players. We signed players who didn't have offers, or offers that they didn't want, that were still, that it kind of, let's call it, slid through the cracks in terms of the recruiting process. We signed players in the transfer portal that were available. We were late in the running on a lot of them. We were late on in relationships. We were late on it in contacts, and we ran out of time. We did the best we could. I think Michael and his staff did a great job of upgrading the roster, and then it was upgraded again in the spring after spring ball. And I mean, our football team's a lot better than what it was at the end of spring ball, I can tell you that.
Now, we can agree or disagree on the cause, right? That's him acknowledging that the roster isn't good enough, right? He's really giving a reason for why the roster isn't good enough. He's saying it's because they were late to recruiting, and they had to almost settle for guys in the recruiting world because they were late to building relationships, and other teams had advanced. Like what you just heard what he said, but the underlying root of that is him going, well, yeah, our guys aren't talented enough. And here's why. But he said, that's what his actions said. That's a kind of a step in the right direction, right? The first step towards solving a problem is acknowledging you have a problem. So if he says, the reason why we didn't get the guys that we wanted, or the players at the level that we wanted, is because we were late to building relationships. Okay, now I know what you got to fix. You better have great relationships. You better be, texting these recruits, funny memes. I don't know. Wherever you build those relationships, you better be out there doing it. I don't think that's necessarily the reason why the roster wasn't where it needed to be. I think they misevaluated some. But, hey, some acknowledgement of an issue is better than no acknowledgement of an issue. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. So the NFL season is cranking along. 6 games, right? Or 6 weeks, I guess, because some teams have bye weeks and everything else. 6 weeks. And I did this earlier today, and I'm going to do it again because I think it's important, like for me to say and me to remind myself of, as much as I'm reminding any of you. Every team is dealing with injuries. Every team. It's not just your team. This is good for fantasy football as well. Like, oh, yeah, you had CD and he's hurt. Darn. Well, guess what? That guy in your league had someone, and that guy in your league, and that lady in your league had somebody. And I'm going to explain this in a more direct to Panther fan way. I've been bummed that Jalen Coker's been hurt, right? Especially because I think there's a role for him that he fits very well for that offense. I think that passing offense is not the type of offense that can just be, next man up mentality. I think they need their dudes. So Jalen Coker, after playing in the preseason, between the preseason and the regular season, got hurt, had to go on IR. His first game that he would have been eligible to come back was last week. He didn't come back. And it's like, oh man, Panthers getting the raw end of the deal again. Just this week, just week 6, Puka Nacua hurt his ankle, couldn't finish the game, went back in for like 5 or 6 plays down the goal line, but didn't do anything, and is likely out this upcoming week. Emeka Egbuka pulled a hammy. He was having a nearly historic rookie season. He tweaked his hammy, whatever you want to call it. They're expecting multiple week absence. Garrett Wilson, who, by the way, is punished enough just having to play for the New York Jets offense, ends up getting a scan done after the game. He has a hyperextended knee. He's out multiple weeks. Marvin Harrison Jr. finally putting together a season that looks like it's okay, right? Last year he was pretty underwhelming as a rookie, despite being one of the first draft picks in the entire draft. He has a concussion, doesn't finish the game in protocol. Calvin Ridley, who's the number 1 for the Titans, who, by the way, fired their coach, he's out with a hammy. DJ Moore, it appeared, finished the game for Chicago last night. They won the game. He was taken by ambulance to the hospital, kept overnight, and the reporters I follow that cover the Bears are unsure why. So that's all just this week. Already hurt at the wide receiver position, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Godwin, Darnell Mooney, and Juwan Jennings, just because I think it's kind of like, tis but a scratch. It's a funny deal. Juwan Jennings played for the Niners, had 1 catch, and then after the game told reporters he's playing with 5 broken ribs and high and low ankle sprains. He's just out there held together by like duct tape and hope. Yeah, is it a bummer that the Panthers haven't had Jalen Coker? Yes. Is it a bummer that your fantasy team had Marvin Harrison Jr. and he didn't finish the game? Yes. Every team is dealing with it. And probably worse than you. Seems like, and that's, by the way, all of those injuries I just said, just wide receivers. I just picked a position. Right? Pick another one. Oh, the Panthers. Goodness gracious. Chuba Hubbard. How nice would it be if he could spell Rico and keep him fresh? Look at what the Cardinals are dealing with. Their starter, James Conner, hurt. Their backup, Trey Benson, hurt. They're both like Conner done for the year, Trey Benson on IR. Amari DiMercado, hurt. They're down to Michael Carter and Bam Knight, a couple of guys that played their college football right here in the Triangle. They're down to running back 4 and 5 already. It's the NFL. It's a physical sport. And it's important to remind yourself for NHL. Every team's going to deal with injuries at some point in time. And if your team isn't dealing with them by like the second week of the season, be grateful. They're physical sports. What number was that? Number 3? Let's get to number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
The ACC preseason. Talking basketball now. A little changing gears. ACC preseason poll results came out, as well as the preseason awards, meaning like Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year and those things. Came out earlier today, during the show, actually. We broke the news earlier. If you weren't listening, I will remind you of the results now. ACC men's basketball preseason poll. Duke picked to finish first, 34 first-place votes. Louisville, next, 15 first-place votes. UNC, third. NC State, fourth. Virginia, fifth. That is the top 5 in the preseason polls. Those are also the 5 teams that were either in the AP Top 25 or also receiving votes for the AP Top 25. So if there is a tier break, probably those 5 would be the tier. You might argue 4. Virginia could be kind of in its own middle tier by itself. Then 6th in the ACC preseason poll, SMU, 7th Clemson, 8th Miami, 9th Syracuse, 10th Notre Dame, and 11th Wake Forest. In a world where the ACC, I mean, just, based on recent history, is not going to get 8 or 9 teams in the NCAA tournament, that can kind of tell you, right? Teams like Wake Forest, teams like Notre Dame, they're going to have to exceed expectations if they want to be out there in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. ACC preseason, all ACC first team. Cameron Boozer, freshman for Duke. Darian Williams, incoming transfer for State. Marcus Burton from Notre Dame. Michael Brown, incoming freshman for Louisville. And Ryan Conwell, incoming transfer for Louisville. Louisville with 2 in the first team. They are the 2 with the fewest votes amongst first-teamers, but 2 on the first team nonetheless. Second team, Boopy Miller, former player for Wake Forest, transferred to SMU before last season. Second team, All-ACC preseason for SMU. J.J. Starling, second teamer for Syracuse. Isaiah Evans for Duke. I feel like I have a lot of early stock in Isaiah Evans. I was putting him on the Dean's list very early on in the season last year because he was getting few minutes off the bench, and I like that he was coming in ready to fire and knock down shots. So if he has a big season, I'll feel like my stock portfolio is ramping up. Bayandongo, Georgia Tech, also a second teamer. Caleb Wilson, UNC. I want to buy a lot of stock in Caleb Wilson, although I think it's probably priced pretty high. He's coming in with a lot of hype, but he's another incoming freshman that has a lot of hype and will have a large role for UNC. Do you know what I like about Caleb Wilson's role for UNC?
What's that?
They have other tall guys. Guys like Henry Vesar. I'm gonna get that so I can roll off the tongue with it by basketball season. They have Henry Vesar. They have Jaren Stevenson. They have some other guys that can do some of the big guy, glue guy stuff, which I think will let Caleb Wilson play a really fun brand of basketball. And he can jump out of the gym. ACC preseason player of the year. The voting is in. It's Darian Williams, NC State, with 23 votes. Cameron Boozer, second vote getter. You don't really get anything for that. There's no runner-up, but second vote getter. Cameron Boozer of Duke with 19 votes, so it's actually kind of a close race there. Nobody else with more than 2. And finally, ACC preseason rookie of the year. If you're second in player of the year voting as a freshman, you're probably a good bet to be rookie of the year.
More likely.
Unless you're second to another rookie, obviously. ACC preseason rookie of the year, Cameron Boozer of Duke. 43 votes, nobody else with more than 3. Dennis, anything stand out to you? Your reactions?
Not that surprised, really, by any of this. I will say that it looks like and it feels like everyone is very high on NC State this year and what Will Wade is potentially bringing to the NC State program. They got picked to finish 4th. They have the preseason ACC Player of the Year and a preseason all-conference guy, like you mentioned, in Darian Williams. It's a lot of high praise and a lot of high expectations for NC State basketball this year. Duke at number 1, yeah, that makes sense. Carolina at number 3, makes sense.
I think that is what State wanted when they brought in Will Wade. You don't bring in Will Wade who, in his first press conference is saying, we got these bully neighbors that we're going to go get, and we're going to finish in the top of the ACC, and we're going to make the NCAA tournament. You don't bring in that guy and then go, I really wish we could slide under the radar for the first couple years. You bring in that guy, and you say, we want to make waves. And it appears as if making waves is happening. Darian Williams, by the way, there's a reason why he's hyped. It's not just, everyone's believing it's he was all Big 12 last year. We talked to him at ACC tip-off. He was, I don't know if it was 2 feet fully down. What do they say? 10 toes down when you're all the way in. He was 9.5 toes down and going to the NBA. So, got a pro-level player coming in, and that's why he ends up ACC preseason player of the year. I do want to let him know, though, just as an ACC diehard, all those cheap buckets you got in the Big 12, those don't exist in the. You got to bring your hard hat in the ACC, Darian. I don't know. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go on! Let's do that hockey.
Canes tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern time, puck drop against San Jose and Dmitry Orlov, who was a member of the Canes the last couple of years. All eyes have been and will continue to be on the top line for the Carolina Hurricanes. When you bring in Nikolai Ehlers to pair with Aho and Jarvis, similar to State, right? It's you expect expectations there, right? And that's good. You're not bringing in Ehlers and putting him on the top line and going, now I really hope nobody thinks that line should produce for the first couple of months. No, they're good. They're high hockey IQ. They should be performing. And that's kind of the deal here. Rod Brindamore spoke about that top line coming together early this season and what they need to do. And I'll let Rod say it himself. Here's Rod Brindamore, the coach of the Canes, on that top line.
Yeah, they got to, that line has to be impactful every night. I mean, that's just the nature of it. If you're going to put those guys together. So we got to get them on the score sheet. They can't be giving up goals either. So that's a tough assignment, but, we're definitely something that we're going to keep going with.
They need to be producing. The good news is there's two things that I think are really impressive about this Canes roster. One is you look at the top line, it looks like a top line. Like you have dudes, right? You have guys that are, considered stars and maybe one or two of them that could be considered superstars, underrated superstars. The other thing is you have depth. You have depth and you have like really quality players up and down the lineup. So if Ehlers takes a little longer than you'd hope to get rolling, but you're grabbing goals from Gostisbehere and Hall, and Jarvis is obviously carrying his part of the equation with 3 goals through 2 games, and you have Stahl contributing a goal. Like if you're getting, and Keandre Miller somehow finding the back of the net twice in his first game, like if when you have a roster that is deep, you do buy yourself some time, right? Like the beauty is you signed perhaps the crown jewel of the free agency class. Through 2 games, he hasn't done a ton, and you're 2-0. Like, that's huge, right? Usually when somebody brings in a free agent of that caliber, you're going to be going, oh, no, if he doesn't produce, all of this bad happens. No, you have a guy who's, -1 on the year through, 40 minutes roughly, and you're 2-0. That's fantastic. So I think, the in a weird way, Ehlers not playing great, or not, I don't even want to say he's not playing great. Not having the big, flashy highlight reel moment yet is good. Because guess what? He's going to have big, flashy highlight reel moments. And you don't have any yet, and you're undefeated. One of 3 undefeated teams remaining. You've played 2 games, but hey, don't nitpick my argument. Don't attack me with that logic. Speaking of Ehlers, and Dennis, I'm going to ask you your thoughts on his first 2 games in a second here, so prepare if you need to. Against Philly, he did have a 19:59 on ice time, 19 minutes, 59 seconds. That's more than he had in any regular season game last year. So he's already playing a different role, more of kind of a larger role than he played last year. So, that's you're asking him to do things that are a little different already. And now, as prepped, Dennis, what through 2 games, what's your Ehlers take?
The speed is noticeable. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing I see with him, Jarvis, and Aho on the ice together is that they're thinking ahead like 2 or 3 steps, like they each are. They're trying to anticipate each other. And I think that's where sometimes you see a little bit of a disconnect, but they are still creating chances. I think when they get to the point where they don't have to overthink, where they don't really even have to think, they can just anticipate, that's where you're really going to see that line take off. I think he's been fine. I mean, his speed is noticeable. He fits into the system, I think, really, really well. Like we've talked about before with new guys into the Canes system, it takes about 12, 15, 20 games, especially on the blue line, but anybody to play with new guys, new system, new city, new everything. The talent's there. The skill is there.
I alternate between massive amounts of hype and expectations and getting really excited because I think they're talented, and the logic of get time. Like it's been 2 games. Yeah. It's been 2 games, and there's been nothing like super bad, right? It's not like they don't look like they are, vibing at all. Because actually, I will say this. As much as we say, 2 games, what can happen in 2 games? 2 games is nothing. 2 games is nothing. I will add this. 2 games in, I think we were all queasy about Mikko. Mm-hmm. 2 games in, it was the first kind of I'm not going to say anything because it's ridiculous after 2 games, but I don't feel good about this. I don't feel that way with Nikolai Ehlers, which is, hey, it's something. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get our numbers game contestants, and I get to, live out my dream of being a game show host like we were talking about earlier, before we do that, Tim Donnelly here from Mainer Service Company. You know what? We all have dreams, right? I want to be a game show host. Maybe you want to be an astronaut, whatever it is. That's the fun part, especially when you're a kid, right? Just dreaming of it. You don't realize that adult life is going to be a lot more like Yeah, that outlet over in the corner never works, right? I was going to be an astronaut. Now it's, sometimes my air conditioner makes a funny noise and then I got to shut it down and turn it back on. No, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to have those mundane, annoying things about adult life. All you need is the Mainer Service Company phone number, and suddenly that outlet that just never works, or the light switch that you don't know what it does and you're worried about it, or your HVAC system that shuts down every time you use it for more than 10 hours. Whatever you're dealing with, Mainer Service Company, when it comes to taking care of your house, wants to help you. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, all those things that when you're working, you take them for granted. And when they're not working, it becomes that, oh, man, I'll go get the tools. And then you don't know what you're doing. You're just out there tapping on things, hoping it works. Mainer Service Company does know what they're doing. Highly educated, highly trained technicians to make sure they know what they're doing. And they want to use all that knowledge, use all that expertise to help you out. So give them a call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993, or visit them online at MainerServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Now, as promised, we need numbers game contestants. We need 2 of them. Call in now, 919-860-5326. That's our number for the numbers game. The prize for today, going to the winner of today's numbers game, is a pair of tickets to see Seth Meyers at DPAC on January 24th. Seth Meyers Comedy at DPAC, January 24th. If you want to win, you got to call in now and play. 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants. Call in now, 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and San Jose.
Svechnikov scores! That's the magic! We're tied at 3!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 9:30. Puck Drop at 10.
Game over! Series over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
One last exhale.
Fitting, isn't it? The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. Close quarters, tight corners, and a fan experience that brings you so close to the action, all of the mayhem will be right at your fingertips. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Martinsville Speedway, October 23rd through the 26th. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize for today, Seth Meyers comedy tickets at DPAC in near the end of January. The contestants for today are Sean and Mebin and Todd and Raleigh. And they will be competing with numbers game trivia, or jersey number trivia, to see who gets the tickets. As always, I'll bring them each on the show, ask them the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. Sean and Mebin, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so earlier today, a listener joked during Feedback Frenzy about my desire to be a game show host. So I ask you this question. You get to host any game show host, or any game show. You get to be the host. Obviously, you don't nothing happened to the current host. You just get to take over. What game show are you choosing?
Geez, I'd have to go with Family Feud.
Family Feud. All right. Dennis, any follow-up questions?
No questions.
All right. You are locked in with Family Feud, Sean and Mebin. Todd and Raleigh, same question to you. If they tell you get to be the host of any game show, you just got to pick. Which one are you choosing?
I'm going to go with The Price is Right.
Price is Right. Dennis, any follow-ups?
No questions.
All right. We have Sean and Mebin with Family Feud. We have Todd and Raleigh with Price is Right. And the winner is...
Price is Right.
Wow.
Price is Right. So many sick days from school and summer times at 11 a.m. eating grilled cheese.
Only if I get the skinny microphone that Bob Barker used.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Have to have that.
That's my only prerequisite.
Price is Right. I actually do have a Price is Right story to tell, but that's for a later time.
Would Price is Right have been your choice, or is it just your choice out of the two?
It would have been my choice.
Okay. All right. There you go. So that means Todd and Raleigh gets to go first. Sean and Mebin, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a second. Todd, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right. The categories are NFL alliteration is the key. So all players whose first and last names start with the same letter. NFL players that were at one point or another teammates of Marcus Mariota. NBA players that were born in mid-September. Or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
I'll go NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will read the team name in this category, even though we know it. That's more just to keep it fair timing-wise, because the other categories, we don't know the team. Everything okay? Everything all right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I will give you the I already read all the rules. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Keandre Miller, Carolina Hurricanes.
19.
Correct. Nikolai Ehlers, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Correct. Matt Tennyson, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Keith Aucoin, Carolina Hurricanes.
82.
Incorrect. John Matsumoto, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Incorrect. Matt Tennyson, Carolina Hurricanes.
28.
Incorrect. Keith Aucoin, Carolina Hurricanes.
85.
Incorrect. John Matsumoto, Carolina Hurricanes. All right, you got two. You got the two new guys. You got the current ones. You got Miller. You got Ehlers. Tennyson, we were looking for 26. You threw 28. That felt like a dart throw, and it's a pretty close one. Aucoin, we were looking for 37. And Matsumoto, we were looking for 18. But 2 is the number to beat. You are the leader in the clubhouse. Go ahead and stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up.
Awesome. Thank you.
That brings us to Sean and Mebin. Sean, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players whose first and last names start with the same letter, alliteration. NFL players who were at one point or another teammates of Marcus Mariota. Or NBA players with their birthdays in mid-September.
Let's go with NFL alliteration.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. You need at least 3 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins.
1.
Correct. Jalen Johnson, Chicago Bears.
20.
Incorrect. Bobby Brown, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Chris Carson, Seattle Seahawks.
24.
Incorrect. Jalen Johnson, Chicago Bears.
21.
Incorrect. Bobby Brown, Carolina Panthers.
54.
Incorrect. Chris Carson, Seattle Seahawks.
20.
Incorrect. Jalen Johnson, Chicago Bears. You got one. You got Tua. which was ironically 1. You also got, you didn't get Jalen Johnson, which you also could have said 1. 1 or 33 for Johnson. Bobby Brown, 97. Chris Carson, 32. Unfortunately, not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun.
I did. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I would like to take credit for not going survey says. Would have been moved there. There it is. But that means the winner, and the price is right for Todd and Raleigh. Come on down.
Awesome.
You are the winner, which means Seth Meyers tickets coming your way. Just go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to grab from you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Dennis has to grab that info. I am also itching for whatever story Dennis said he had about The Price is Right.
So back when I was
stay on the line. Whoever the winner, stay on the line.
Stay on the line. So back in 2020, this was I was an assistant coach at Meredith College. I was still working here. I was working there part time. We actually had a spring break trip to Southern California. This is again spring 2020 when COVID started to become a thing. So we had spring break trip, Southern California, and we were set to play a couple schools down there in that area. And as part of our spring break trip, I suggested, hey, let's go to The Price is Right. So we actually got tickets. Our team got tickets and everything going in. But my role here at Capital Broadcasting was changing, evolving, like in a positive way, I should say. And then with COVID and everything taking place, I did not go on the trip out to Southern California. One of my players, her name's Faith. Not only did she get called down, next contestant, she not only won the bid, she nailed it, exact dollar amount, so got the $500. Was for her cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Won her prize. She actually won like a pizza oven and a couple other things. Also, spun the big wheel, had the best score, and got all the way to the Showcase Showdown.
Wow.
Yes. And just fell
What
short.
dreams are made of.
Just fell short on the Showcase Showdown. So shout out to Faith, one of my former players over at Meredith College. It should have been me.
Would you have won?
Yeah. Absolutely.
The Price is Right is first of all, it's why it's great. But it is a true, like when you're sitting at home, you get it right every time, and you just know it wouldn't be like it's. I say this about Jeopardy. People are always like, I get all the questions right on Jeopardy. I'm like, yeah, but how many answers do you give? Right? They'll be like, this author writes poems about birds. And you're like, Shel Silverstein or Edgar Allan Poe and then they're like, Edgar Allan Poe. You're like, nailed it. You know, you gave 4 answers. You can't do that on the show. You got it right in multiple choice. And Price Right is the same way. They're like, this much, a can of beans costs. You're like, well, it's got to be like $2. They're like $1.88. You're like, nailed it. It's like, well, kind of.
Depends on the game.
What's your favorite?
Oh, I mean, Plinko, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
Plinko's the obvious one.
Well, yeah, that's saying your favorite Queen song is Bohemian Rhapsody. It's very down the middle. I like the one with the dice, the big dice.
Yeah, the big dice. Big dice is a good one.
Obviously, there's
the Mountain Climber.
Oh, yeah, that guy's good.
Yeah, trust me, I know it.
Or the putting one's always fun.
Hole in 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're good. Anyway, the Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. It's not about game shows. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Something to keep in mind, actually something you should not do when you're out there on the roads on a motorcycle. Don't roll the dice, folks. Be smart. Be safe when you're out there on the road. Play it safe when you're out there on the road. Make sure your lane positioning is good. Make sure your bike is in proper working order. And make sure you have safe stopping distance between the vehicles around you. And always have an escape in case you get put into a tight spot. Always have an escape. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you give Law Tigers a call even before you contact the insurance companies. And contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before, and speak to them before you give a written statement to the insurance companies. Because Law Tigers, they're there to fight for you, whereas, let's be honest, insurance companies are there to give you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, again, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. That's why your case evaluation with them is always free, and you don't owe a dime until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back here on The Drive with good news for Panthers. Good news for Panthers fans, I should say. Your stars are acting like stars. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
He always makes excuses, and it's always somebody else's fault. That's who Tua has been through the 6 years he's been in the National Football League. Respect is earned, it's not given. I don't give a damn that you got a C on your chest and that you've been appointed the, quote, leader of the team from the coaches. In the NFL, if your locker room does not respect your quarterback, it's over. Full stop.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24 monthly bill credit is on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I travel coast to coast covering hockey. But when I'm back home, I head to my home away from home, Buffalo Brothers, for the best wings on the planet. You can't beat their specials at all 5 of their Triangle locations. Every pro football game day, you can get Miller Lite Draft for $4.50 and Blue Moon Draft for $5.50. Pet-friendly patio too. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. So, the Carolina Panthers have won a couple of games in a row. They've won 3 games total. They're 3-3. They're undefeated at home.
Let's go.
There's a lot of good going on there, right? Looking for reasons why. I do think it's not just, they played well. There's usually some other things happening. And on the defense specifically, I think part of it is the Stars plays like stars. The Snosberries taste like Snosberries. When the Stars play like stars and act like stars and command the room like stars, you feel it. And it changes things. And people want to follow. And you raise the level of your play to as close to the level of their play as you can. And you see it time and time and time again across team sports, right? Somebody sets the standard. And I think there are 2 guys right now that are doing that on the defense for the Carolina Panthers. And they do so differently. They have different personalities. They play different positions. But they're for my money, and for the Panthers' money, no doubt, the best players on the defense. We're talking Derek Brown. We're talking J.C. Horn. Derek Brown, there's almost I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this one. If you want to show your value, remove yourself from the equation, right? And then put yourself back in and then remove. And it's like, look how good it is when I'm here. Look how bad it is when I'm not. I must be pretty darn valuable. Derek Brown essentially did that on accident. Last year he was hurt. The run defense was atrocious. He's back this year, and as they've gone on this little winning run, the run defense has been one of, if not the main contributing factor. They have bottled up run defenses recently. That's what stars do. And do you know what's crazy? He's not making all the tackles. He's not eating all the blocks. He's not the only one doing things. What he's doing is he is making everyone around him better. That's what stars do. For how much money, and I'm not even talking dollar amount. I'm talking percentage of the cap. For how much money stars in the NFL make, it is impossible to get to get good value, to get bang for your buck just off of what they do. What you have to do is they're going to be productive, they're going to get it done, but also they're going to impact all of these other guys to play better, and that's where you can get bang for your buck. That's where you can get value. Christian Roseboom and Trevin Wallace are not I don't want to be mean. They're not elite linebacker tandem, okay? They're not, a couple of Fred Warners out there, who, by the way, is hurt. And they've been a part of a run defense that's been great the past couple of games. Part of that is because Derek Brown makes their job easier. A'Shawn Robinson's really good in the middle. When he's playing the Derek Brown role, he doesn't get to be as effective. But when you move him to whatever role is complementing Derek Brown, he becomes much better. A defense that is stopping the run is a Derek Brown defense. And when he shows up and the defense now has an identity, that's not an accident. That is a star leading a squad. Right? I talk about teams take on the image of their coach many times. Like if they're happy-go-lucky, a lot of times teams happy or coaches happy-go-lucky. A unit takes on a lot of times the image of their best player. It's obvious the front seven is taking on Derek Brown's image in the last 2 games, and they are doing what he does at an elite level as a group. Boom, Derek Brown, star playing like a star. J.C. Horn, the part I want to emphasize, is a little bit different because I do think when you are the best player on a defense, one of the best players on a defense, one of the best players on a team, you kind of have to act like it. And by the way, if you're not one of the best players on the team and you act like it, you're going to be a jerk. So make sure you're that guy before you act like that guy. But J.C. Horn, right? 3rd highest paid defensive back in the history of the NFL on a per-year basis on his current contract. Reportedly, and it's been like they've talked about it, so it's not like up in the air, went and asked to guard George Pickens for the last drive of the game for the Carolina Panthers. Seeked out the guy who had 160-some-odd receiving yards already, who was already in line to be, statistically one of the best wide receivers of the week in the NFL. He said, I want to guard him. Now, it's tempting, right? Especially in a world where we are so statistic-based with legacy and we are so statistic-based with our lists, who's the better player. He could have said, yeah, I'm going to keep guarding these scrubs on the backside, and I'm going to have a 0.0 passer rating against. I'm going to keep just shutting down this side of the field because they keep throwing it to George Pickens and completing passes on the other side of the field. And instead he went, no, give me the big challenge. I want George Pickens. Went and seeked it out. Stars want the ball with the game on the line. They want the one-on-one. They want the mano-a-mano. They want, for those of you that have seen the Redeem Team documentary, when LeBron's making fun of Kobe, saying that he does this little signal where he makes a triangle and breaks it, and LeBron's like, I finally figured it out. I've been trying to understand what play Kobe was calling when he did this thing for years. You know what that means? Give me the ball. Everybody clear out. I'm working one-on-one. That's all that means. That just means, give me the ball. You need your stars to want the Kobe play of just give me the ball, right? When the game's on the line, everybody clear out. J.C. Horn calling for George Pickens, going up to the coach and saying, I want the guy that's cooking us. That's the corner defensive back equivalent of give me the ball and clear out. I want to be able to end this one, and I love that attitude from J.C. Horn.
It's not just the attitude from him, but even like Rico Dowdle the week before. Hey, I see this opening. Let's run this play. He pops off a big 53-yarder. Even Damian Lewis post-game talked about how, hey, there's something that we're seeing. Let's take advantage of this. So not only the players are going to the coaches and the coaches are understanding what the players are saying and implementing that in some way, shape, or form, but the players are backing it up, which is the most important thing out of all this. It's one thing to have the swagger to go up to the coach and say, hey, coach, let me lock down George Pickens. Okay, well, then you better go lock him down. You can't get cooked because otherwise, when you ask for it next time, remember the game against Dallas? But that's the one thing about the players is that every time, at least in the last couple of weeks, we've heard them asking or at least going to the coaches saying, hey, this is what I see. This is what I'm feeling. The coaches are trusting them, and the players are backing it up. You got to give a ton of credit to the players.
And that's why I said you have to actually be that guy if you're going to act like that guy, because Mike Jackson could have taken that as an insult. Could have said, "What are you going to do better than me?" But no, he went, "No, this is J.C. Horn's defense, right? If he wants the assignment, I'm going to do whatever role I get displaced to, as well as I possibly can." And I would even go back a little bit on what you said there. I think if J.C. Horn got beat by George Pickens, as long as you believe in J.C. Horn, it doesn't change, right? Because he's still that guy, and I want him to beat, especially at corner, quarterback, the pitcher, right? There are certain positions, goalie. There are certain positions in sports where I definitely don't want you thinking I can't play my game if I get beat. Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, in different ways, I believe are leading that defense in a way that bodes well for their status as keystones, as cornerstones of the franchise moving forward. I still think the defense has a lot of ways they can improve on the roster talent-wise, but seeing them develop as leaders based on the situations that are put in, both play and attitude, it's important. And even Derek Brown. Derek Brown talking about, because somebody asked him, I don't know the exact terms of the question, but it was something about how, could the Jets be like a trap game? Like they're not the toughest. And he was like, we haven't won on the road yet. You think we have the ability to overlook anybody? I went, great point, good leader, right there. Mindset, I like it, Derek. Way to go. Those two guys impressed me, and I wanted to give them some props. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I have some more props to give. I want to give props to the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. I want to give them props for basically having everything you could need if you want to get into the watch game, and basically having everything you could need if you're already deep into the watch game. What I mean by that is, say you want to get into the timepiece game, right? You want to start making a statement with something on your wrist. Maybe you're at a point in your life where you're there. You got a little cash to spend. They can get you started, right? They can, you want a dive watch. You want something you can wear in the boardroom, out at night, and the next day hanging out with your friends. They got you. Meanwhile, if you already have maybe your daily driver watch, you already have your dress watch, but you're looking for something a little flashy to wear going out, they can take care of that as well. And I'm not just talking about, maybe the outskirts of the watch world, although they have those, some independent watch brands, some really cool brands. They also have pre-owned and vintage Rolex. They also have an Omega boutique. They also have Glashütte Original. They also have Blancpain. They also have Hamilton. They also have pre-owned and vintage Cartier. They also have G-Shock if you're working. They also have Timex if you want to mix it up. They've got a little bit of everything, and that's why I'm giving them a little extra props. You can follow them on Instagram at Fox and Bailey Watch Shop on Instagram and see their kind of their updates to their inventory there, or you can just stop out. Fox and Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh. Let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, what is coming up? Oh, we got the podium coming up. Perfect. The podium will lead off Overdrive here on 99.9 The Fan, so you'll hear kind of what's the state of a few of the football teams here in the state of North Carolina, the ones that play in the ACC. And we have Canes late night, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock puck drop, which means the pregame will start at 9:30?
That's right. You can listen to it on the 99.9 The Fan app.
You can listen to it here on 99.9 The Fan, the 99.9 The Fan app, and buckle up for a late night of hockey. I'm looking forward to it. Enjoy the game. And also subscribe on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. I want 20,000. We want 20,000 subscribers. We have a cool giveaway there. So 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Tell your friends, please. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight. Have a great evening, everybody.
Pack Therapy is in session, thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan, alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.